just, I guess just going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves, much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to the fifth game, where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years, only to find ourselves, the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for Game 7. And the same thing happened. It just, we felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason because they're a great team. And here we are in Game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov, Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves, and Mike Richter and Ned, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Saturday, December the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the LA Kings. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 938, Kings on Internet 932. 1 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Devils on Sirius 208, XM 219 and Internet 936, Blackhawks on Internet 925. 2 p.m., Minnesota Wild face the Philadelphia Flyers. Wild on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 933, Flyers on Internet 940. 4 p.m., Edmonton Oilers face the Vegas Golden Knights. Oilers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 930, Knights on Internet 949. 7 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Montreal Canadiens. Jets on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 951, Canadiens on Internet 934. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Anaheim Ducks. Jackets on Sirius 210, XM 221 and Internet 927, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Red Wings on Sirius 208, XM 219 and Internet 929, Maple Leafs on Internet 946. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Senators on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 939, Penguins on Internet 941. 8 p.m., Dallas Stars take on the St. Louis Blues. Stars on Sirius 211, XM 222 and Internet 928, Blues on Internet 944. 9 p.m., Colorado Avalanche face the Nashville Predators. Avalanche on XM 223, Internet 926, Predators on Internet 935. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks face the Boston Bruins. Canucks on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 948, Bruins on Internet 921. 10 p.m., Calgary Flames face the Florida Panthers. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 923. Panthers on Internet 931.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. Sirius XM, Channel 89.
Six-time Stanley Cup champion and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin to discuss what Game 7 means to him and what it's like to also lose a Game 7.
Well, when you think about the two greatest words in sports, you think about Game 7 for many reasons. Obviously, to get to a Game 7, both teams obviously very evenly matched from the literal sense, the Game 7. You don't have to be a sport fan to understand that something's big at stake and that you will go watch it even if you don't know the teams, you don't know the players, you know the backdrop, because it's the greatest form of reality TV in the world, because there is going to be a winner and a loser. A lot at stake, obviously. But for me personally, it's a lifetime journey to acquire the skill set that's required to be able to perform when the stakes are the highest, under the most scrutinized pressure, when you're expected to perform. And you think about a Game 7 moment or Game 7, that's when you have to perform. It's a winner or go home situation. And what are the skill sets that are required to do that? Obviously, we've practiced our game and honed our skill set for years and years and years, tens of thousands of hours of honing our skills. But emotionally, mentally, what prepares you to play in those moments and perform when you're expected to? That, I think, is what really defines a Game 7 moment for the players that have excelled in Game 7 moments. And what are those life lessons that we can teach our young boys and girls, and the skill sets required to do that? The breathing, being able to slow your heart down, and your blood pressure goes up, and your decision-making is rash, and concentration varies because of all of it. What allows you to kind of really slow down and use your God-given talent, and then obviously the repetitions through your whole life that you know you can do it. You just got to be able to do it when it matters most. It's like hitting a home run, and like Aaron Boone did, or doing something special at the right moments. And I think the educational part of the docuseries is really fascinating to me there, to help our young boys and girls who will be faced with big decisions in their life. And you don't have to be a sport fan to have a Game 7 moment in life. Everybody's faced with decisions that are going to alter the trajectory of their lives in one way or another there. And we're trying to figure out what those skill sets are.
What does it feel like to lose a Game 7?
Fortunately for me, I never experienced what the Oilers did last year, going all the way to the end in a championship game and losing in a Game 7. Anytime you get to a Game 7, it's a hard journey to get there. Two teams, evenly matched. It's been a war. It's been a tug of war. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. And then to lose that is devastating. I think about my own experience in Game 7, winning 7 of them. The two still hurt to this day. What could I have done different? You always say that you got to lose in order to understand how to win. I do agree with that. I think there are lessons in loss and in failure, both as a team and as an individual. If I had my preference, I would have liked to have learned those lessons while I was winning. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. But I look back at it now and just think about how grateful I am for all the lessons in wins and the losses, because it really ends up defining who you are as a person and as a player.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio, SiriusXM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, December the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the LA Kings. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 938. Kings on Internet 932. 1 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Devils on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 936. Blackhawks on Internet 925. 2 p.m., Minnesota Wild face the Philadelphia Flyers. Wild on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 933. Flyers on Internet 940. 4 p.m., Edmonton Oilers face the Vegas Golden Knights. Oilers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 930. Knights on Internet 949. 7 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Montreal Canadiens. Jets on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 951, Canadiens on Internet 934. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Anaheim Ducks. Jackets on Sirius 210, XM 221 and Internet 927, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Red Wings on Sirius 208, XM 219 and Internet 929, Maple Leafs on Internet 946. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Senators on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 939, Penguins on Internet 941. 8 p.m., Dallas Stars take on the St. Louis Blues. Stars on Sirius 211, XM 222 and Internet 928, Blues on Internet 944. 9 p.m., Colorado Avalanche face the Nashville Predators. Avalanche on XM 223, Internet 926, Predators on Internet 935. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks face the Boston Bruins. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948, Bruins on Internet 921. 10 p.m., Calgary Flames face the Florida Panthers. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 923, Panthers on Internet 931.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers, Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on the morning skate for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 to discuss the pressures of Game 7 after having played in 9 Game 7s himself, winning 7 of them, and how you can either thrive under pressure or crumble underneath it.
I must look at Game 7's, Mark, like I do overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs or overtime in any sporting event where you've got so much pressure on you and every play gets magnified. Could you, during the course of your career, and you don't have to name names, but could you look around the dressing room or could you look on the opposing bench and could you figure out those that wanted...
You're listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM.
Like Thursday night for the Wild. Thank goodness.
There's a point shot and they score. Hit a body, caroms in. Derek Ryan with the deflection. And it is 7-1 Edmonton.
I mean, I'm not really going to dissect the game other than it was uncharacteristic of us tonight. I think that when you know, whatever the reasons are, they are. But I think we've had a lot of good things that have gone on for us this year. Tonight was an uncharacteristic night for us. I'm not going to overthink it. You know, tonight is what it is. We got to get ready for Saturday.
That's John Hines. One of only 2 times this season the Wild have given up a touchdown. The other one was a trip to Philly in late October. Today's matinee is a rematch as the Wild host the Philadelphia Flyers in Game 2 of the 5-game homestand. Coming up on the Minnesota Wild pregame, lots of question marks swirling around the lineup on this one as there was another significant injury. A couple of key players are nearing a return, and we have a waiver pickup to boot. We'll tell you about everything after a quick break as we get ready for game number 30 of the season. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy. Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
Hey, Wild fans, fall weather is knocking on our doors, and you know what that means. Chilly days are just around the corner. That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable, friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your furnace running efficiently no matter what the weather throws at you. Let's score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems. And ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
It's such a big part of the game now. It's, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more, but it's just sometimes it's just bad luck and where you get hit and how you get hit. And it's unfortunate.
Wild general manager Bill Guerin on losing defenseman Jake Middleton to injury in Thursday night's loss. Blocked an Evan Bouchard shot and is out for at least 10 games. Welcome back to St. Paul. Kevin Fallness from the Al Shaver Press Box. As we get ready for the Wild and Flyers, here are your news and notes. Wild suffered their worst loss of the season on Thursday night, so we need someone that can help put that one behind us. I think I found the right guy yesterday at Tria Rink in St. Paul.
Frederic Goudreau, forward, born in Bromont, Quebec, Canada.
Someone in front. Goudreau scores! Freddie Goudreau! All right, Freddie, you're one of the most positive guys out there. You've always got a smile on your face. How do you move forward after a tough matchup like that last night against Edmonton?
You just move forward. Hey, that's it. You wash it. You keep moving forward. You can carry that energy inside the next day, and that's it. We've built a lot of positive things throughout the season so far, and we know that's our group, and that's it. You just move forward.
Is it easy? Is it just that easy? I mean, you've played 29 games, and there's been maybe one or two stinkers, and every time you've had one of those stinkers, you've been able to move on that quickly. Does that make it easier to forget about Thursday night and move forward to Saturday?
Yeah, it's. I think the night of, you're kind of like, all right, what happened, but then with experience, there's no points to start trying to figure it out and stuff. You just go to bed and wake up the next day and keep going at it.
You lose Jake Middleton last night. We don't know what the lineup is going to look like for Saturday. We do know one thing, though, and this is one of your favorite topics, Marc-Andre Fleury. I know Philip Gustafson has been at the top of the standings and doing everything as a goaltender does, but you're in pretty good hands when the Flyers between the pipes, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. Both our goalies, they're fantastic. They bring such good energy and poise to our team, and it's been awesome playing in front of these two guys.
Last one for me. You got the Philadelphia Flyers coming in here on Saturday. What do you remember about that trip? It feels like it was a decade ago. A couple of months ago, you went to Philly, lost 7-5, but it was a heck of a hockey game.
Yeah, weird game, but they got such a gritty team. They play hard. They got experience and young players too that are skilled and good. So they have a good team, and we gotta expect their best. They type of team that don't take a day off. So just gotta go out there and bring our best.
Thanks, Freddie.
Thank you.
Freddie Goudreau scored the only goal in Thursday's 7-1 loss to the Oilers, but losing the game wasn't the only loss that night. Jake Middleton blocked a shot in his first shift of the night and left the game, did not return. So the Wild put him on long-term injured reserve. That opens up a spot on the blue line, and to help fill it, the Wild pull left-shot defenseman Travis Dermott off of waivers from Edmonton.
On the far wing, a pass into the slot. Dermott scores! Travis Dermott jumping into the rush, and Nylander spotted him.
I've seen him play since he was in junior, and he's always, he brings good energy. He can skate well. He can move pucks. We really like him. Jason King had him for a short time, and I think he's going to adapt well to the way we play.
Dermott has 339 games of NHL experience over 8 seasons with the Leafs, Canucks, Coyotes, and Oilers. 16 goals, 62 points, and 130 minutes in penalties. He's here, but looks like he won't play because Jonas Brodin is back. Both he and Matt Zuccarello have been pulled off injured reserve, and both return to the lineup today to face the Philadelphia Flyers. Brodin missed 8 games with an upper body injury. Zuccarello missed 12 games with a lower body injury. Both are back in the lineup, and that's good news. The Wild are 0-1 on the season series against the Flyers, and in fact have dropped 4 straight to Philly dating back to 2023. The last time the Wild beat the Philadelphia Flyers?
Zuccarello, Kaprizov, and Addison. Now Zuccarello dancing free. Scores! A highlight reel goal from Matt Zuccarello. It's the overtime winner as he danced past the Flyers defense. Backhand, forehand, chipped it past Carter Hart, and the Wild win it 3-2.
January 26, 2023, Matt Zuccarello scores in overtime. Maybe a good omen because, again, he and Jonas Brodin back in the lineup today in St. Paul. Those are your news and notes. Tom Reed is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The Fantasy fantasy football playoffs are here, and you need fantasy sports radio now more than ever. After a grinding season of injuries, waiver moves, and start-sit decisions, the finish line is in sight.
We've seen some ridiculous running backs have a featured role in the fantasy playoffs that win championships.
But making the wrong move could mean the difference between glory or defeat.
Every week, Mike Evans is either scoring or putting up some numbers.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Don't lose because you weren't listening. Channel 87 on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Middleton, a clean-looking score!
It's tough bounce when he gets injured like that, and we hope it's obviously nothing too serious.
Jake has been playing incredibly well, and he's a big part of the team, and it's disappointing, but it's part of the game.
Bill Guerin and Marcus Foligno on losing Jake Middleton to injury, an NHL best plus 22 out of the lineup for at least 10 games. Tom Reed is with me from the Al Shaver press box. Tom, the hits just keep on coming. It feels like Thursday night that injury list just proved to be too much to overcome against the Oilers.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. And the one thing is when you lose a guy of his stature, I mean, he is having a phenomenal season, and he is playing with so much confidence, and you can put him on the ice in any situation, and he's big, he's strong, he jumps up in the play. To lose a guy of his status is really going to hurt this hockey club, but you got to find a way to go without him. And he only played about 37 seconds the other night, and that really hurt. That kind of disrupted everything for the rest of the game. That's why Minnesota got beat like they did get beat. It was not a fun game for the players, and certainly not for the fans or the broadcasters, as a matter of fact.
Right. Well, like I said in the open there, 29 games in, that was the stinker of all stinkers. Hopefully they have a short memory and they can move past it. We'll talk about the guy they picked up off of waivers, but even more importantly are the two guys that returned from the injury list today in Jonas Brodin and Matt Zuccarello. Talk about a kick in the pants. That's fantastic.
Well, it really is. Now, they haven't played in a while, so you have to be prepared for that, too. They've been working out, they've been skating, doing all kinds of things, but it's not game conditions. Now they're going to play against a team that beat Minnesota the last time they met in Philadelphia, and you can bet that those guys will be hungry. They know that they can beat Minnesota. They've done it numerous times as of late, as we know, Kevin, but at the same time, having those guys back in the line makes Minnesota a much, much stronger club. I don't think I can remember a game or a team that we had so many key players out at one time.
Yeah. The hits just keep on coming. There is a guy that they pulled in off of waivers, was here the other night when the Wild took on the Oilers. He was in the press box. Now he's wearing a Wild uniform. Took part in the pregame skate. With the return of Jonas Brodin, he'll get a chance to collect his thoughts. But what have you heard about Travis Dermott?
Well, I think he's a journeyman type player. He's not going to get you a lot of points and so on, but you need some strength, you need some depth, and that's one thing I think he will provide with this hockey club. And he's got to get used to the systems and everything else, but he knows some of the guys already, so that's a good sign for him. But he flew back. I wonder how the conversation was on the airplane going back there. But I'm sure he wants to play. I mean, everybody who plays in the NHL, you want to play. And I always tell guys, there's scouts here every game. So you have to be prepared that maybe if you play well enough, somebody else wants you to help their team.
Well, we'll see what happens. They're hoping for a much better outcome than what we saw on Thursday. In the postgame show on Thursday night, John Hines said that he's going to burn the tape from that one, forget about it, and just push forward. Is it that easy after a stinker like that?
I think it is. Once the puck is dropped here, that's behind you. You've prepared, you've learned from it, hopefully, and you've heard all the accolades, how bad it was, how good it was, or whatever it may be. But it definitely was bad, and the fans were not very happy, obviously. But the guys on the bench weren't happy. But you're playing with a diminished lineup also, and that's the problem. When you take those key guys out of the lineup, it's going to hurt you.
Well, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll reiterate what the lineup report looks like. Good news: the return of Jonas Brodin and Matt Zuccarello. No Jake Middleton, but who are the starting goaltenders? We'll find out next. This is Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The best best player in college football will be crowned during the Heisman Trophy presentation, and you'll hear it on Sirius XM.
Devin Gabriel, touchdown Oregon.
Touchdown Ashton Jetty.
Cam Ward is into the end zone.
In a season full of Heisman moments,
Travis Hunter strikes the Heisman pros.
only one player can have the ultimate Heisman moment.
The winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy is
The Heisman Trophy presentation tonight at 8 Eastern on College Sports Radio Channel 84 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
I don't know. We've had a good start to the season. We've been good as a team, and they'll happen. They'll happen sometimes. And I think it's sometimes a little easier to just say screw it, and move on. When you lose like a few in a row, that kind of gets in the head a bit. But yeah, I think we'll be fine.
The voice of Marc-Andre Fleury. He's ready to flush Thursday's loss to the Oilers and move on to today's matinee against the Philadelphia Flyers. Time for the starting goaltenders presented by Progressive Insurance. Tom, who goes today for Minnesota?
Well, it will be Marc-Andre Fleury, number 29 in his 21st year in the National Hockey League. His fourth with Minnesota here. The man they call the Flower. 17 consecutive trips to the playoffs. Didn't make it last year, but what a record. I don't know if that'll ever be broken, Kevin. But you look right now, by playing tonight, he's going to move into second place with the most games played by a goaltender in the National Hockey League. And he's just one of those guys that wants to play. He came in, played the third period, let in a couple goals, but by then the damage was done. But very much appreciated, I think, by the guys in that locker room.
Yeah, what a career he's had, spending a lot of time with the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course. He saw a lot of the Philadelphia Flyers. He gets another chance this afternoon in St. Paul. Who goes in goal for them?
Well, it's going to be one of the youngsters, also 24 years of age. Samuel Ersson is going to get the call on this one. He's got some size, too, at 6'3", 194 pounds, so he's got that length, and I'm sure he's going to use that to his advantage. But he had the win against Minnesota back on October the 29th in that 7-5 win, where his save percentage was not very good, but neither was Minnesota's, because Minnesota got pretty handily beat on that one. But his save percentage in that game was 80.8%, which is not good, but he's still in the NHL, and he's learning, and he'll probably get better.
Give me your best 30 seconds on John Tortorella, one of the most colorful guys behind the bench, comes into St. Paul once again today. He's a character. I love listening to his post-game press conference because you just never know exactly what's going to happen.
You like to listen to everything he says because you don't know what's going to happen. And he gets in some of those media scrums, and he tells it like it is. Yeah. He does not pull any punches, certainly not with the players, and certainly not with the guys who are covering him from the media side.
I'd hate to be on the receiving end of one of those glares. I got enough of that with Mikko Koivu. Don't need it with John Tortorella. Tom, enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you.
Tom Reed tells us the starting goaltenders are Fleury versus Ersson. The starting goaltenders are brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? They're yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundle today at Progressive.com. What a game we've got on tap as the Wild get ready to host the Philadelphia Flyers. Joe O'Donnell will tell you more about it next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Everything is better on ice.
Goes his way in. Provorov cuts in and scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
following is an exclusive presentation of the Minnesota Wild, the National Hockey League, and the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Good afternoon, State of Hockey and friends, and welcome to XL Energy Center here in St. Paul, Minnesota, where today the Wild look to bounce back as they continue their homestand against the Philadelphia Flyers. Glad to have you along. Welcome aboard, friends. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed with you. Tom, this Wild team, you and Kevin talked about it on the pregame show. Adversity, injuries, they continue to mount for Minnesota, but all year long they've responded. They've found ways to overcome adversity. What about the Wild start to this season and their ability to bounce back has impressed you the most?
Just the way they bounce back. I mean, you know what? This team has been very resilient. They've lost some key players along the way, and for the most part, they've played well without them. They're getting a lot of wins. And I go back to the last game, Joe. You look at Minnesota, lost to Edmonton 7-1. But the 7 games before that, they won 6-1-0. I mean, they've played very well, giving up 23 goals but scoring 25, and that seems awfully close for having that many victories ahead of the other team. But this is a team that really, they like each other, and I think that's a big part of it.
John Hines, after the loss to Edmonton on Thursday, said, quote, "It wasn't a good night for us," end quote. He talked about how uncharacteristic it was for the team. And he said he's not going to overthink it. He hopes they get their energy back in time for today's game. That could be a big difference. The Wild optional practice yesterday, some reinforcements in the lineup. How do you think they'll play today?
I think they'll play well. I think having those two guys back also, leadership says an awful lot. Experience says an awful lot. And having those two guys back is certainly going to help this squad.
The Wild, the only team in the NHL not to lose back-to-back games in regulation. They're 19-6-4 on the year. Thursday against the Oilers, their worst loss since March 20th of last season. They gave up 3 special teams goals in the 7-1 defeat. Flyers are playing some good hockey. They're 14-12-4. They've climbed into 8th in the Eastern Conference. Winners of back-to-back games. Thursday, they beat Detroit at home. Scott Lawton had 4 goals, all 4 goals, in the Flyers' 4-1 win over the Red Wings, their 7th home ice victory. Alexei Kolosov got the win in net. It'll be Samuel Harrison and Marc-Andre Fleury, the starting goaltenders here today. The Wild, their first regulation loss of the year came in Philadelphia on October the 26th. We'll see if they can avoid back-to-back regulation losses by taking care of the Flyers here today. Puck drop next from St. Paul. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
There's only one thing better than going to a Minnesota Wild game, and for me, that's breakfast. My breakfast always has to include Thomas's. They've got the crispy, warm nooks and crannies of a Thomas's English muffin, or sometimes I'll go with a crunchy on the outside Thomas's bagel. For me, Thomas's is the best way to start my day, and it should be yours too. With over 130 years of breakfast under their belt, Thomas's is ready to bring your breakfast to another level, because with Thomas's, breakfast tastes better.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
From snow and ice to road salt and sludge, Minnesota winters can be tough on your car. Get clean car happy no matter the forecast at Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Tidal Wave's industry-leading car wash gives your vehicle a fast, thorough clean to preserve your car's finish from the elements. Experience clean car shine worth cheering for at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, the state of hockey's car wash destination and proud car wash partner of the Minnesota Wild.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
The scrape of blades, the clash of sticks. Hockey's more than a game. It's unrelenting, never give up moments that make you feel alive. And so you commit to the weekly ups and downs, the long road to the playoffs. You wear your heart on your sleeve and your jersey with pride. And when you're there for your team, the NHL shop is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at NHLshop.com. The Fanatics experience.
I'm Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild. And I'm Brock Faber.
Ripping a shot. He scores! Brock Faber from long range.
Happy holidays from all of us at the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild Hockey is presented in part by Anderson Windows and Doors. Love the life you see. Catalyst Supply Co. Xcel Energy, proudly powering the great state of hockey with safe, clean, and reliable energy.
This is Wild GM Bill Guerin wishing everyone across the state of hockey a happy holiday season.
Toyota, official vehicle of the Minnesota Wild. Your Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers, doing whatever it takes since 1904. Tria Orthopedics, official team physicians of the Minnesota Wild.
Sweeping it down low. Rossi shot. He scores! Marco Rossi alone in front.
How good is that? And now, live from the arena, here's Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell.
From the Al Shaver Press Box, XL Energy Center, St. Paul, Minnesota. Ready to roll. The Wild and the Flyers wrap up their two-game season series. Philadelphia won 7-5 on October the 26th. That was Minnesota's first regulation loss of the year. The Flyers at the time had been winless in 6. They were dead last in the Eastern Conference. They have played much better hockey, really, since getting sort of on track against Minnesota. Tom, what are you looking for early in this hockey game? The Wild have their legs and are back and ready to compete in a better fashion.
Yeah, and what happened last game is forgotten right now, Joe. They're just getting ready to what they have to do when that puck is dropped. They've got to work together, get the puck in the offensive zone, get a good, solid forecheck win when that's necessary, but get that first goal really helps.
Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the opening pairing, wearing their retro sweaters. The 78s here this afternoon. Flyers skating from left to right in the opening frame in their white uniforms. Philadelphia, a strong first period team. It's their only positive goal differential this season, a +7. They led the Wild 2-0 after 20 in Philadelphia in late October, despite just 3 shots on goal. Again, Harrison and Fleury, the goaltending matchup, as Philadelphia, after an early sequence in the offensive zone, will now take a puck from their own end and sky it back into Minnesota ice. Faber, right wing corner, off to Johansson. Up for Hartman, a touch pass for Matt Boldy. Boldy carries in, tries to slip past some trouble. Hartman follows it up. Ryan Hartman, a one-time Flyer, carries around behind the Philadelphia net, sent it along to Declan Chisholm. Handed off to Spurgeon. Now right side Boldy with a shot that's blocked up into the netting. And careens back of the cage. Flyers lead the NHL in block shots. Not only total blocks, but blocks per game as well. Spurgeon around his own cage feeds Matt Zuccarello. Philadelphia changing here. Zuccarello headmans for Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov finds Rossi slashing through the slot. A backhanded shot. Flexed away by Harrison with his blocker. Good speed by Rossi there, TR.
Absolutely. I was going to say the quickness of him also jumping up in the play. They're being ready and able to handle that puck. Getting the puck on the stick is really important, obviously, early on in this game.
We've got a penalty call coming on the Flyers here as good work on the forecheck by the reunited Rossi, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello line will draw the game's first power play.
Philly, minor penalty, 19, tripping.
You know, tripping is a call, and of course that's one area that Minnesota needs to stay away from is those penalties. Look at Boldy's had 4 penalties in the last 2 games, 2 for holding, 2 penalties for holding, and 2 penalties for tripping. So stay out of the box, boys, because the penalty killing has not been good.
Wild power play was 1 for 3 Thursday. They also gave up a shorthanded goal, and that lost to the Oilers. They come in 19th in the league. Flyers PK, 16th overall. 1 for 1 Thursday against the Red Wings in their victory, as Philadelphia here able to muscle a puck all the way down. On the road, the Flyers have the 7th best ranked PK away from home at 84%. The Wild were 1 for 4 at the man advantage in Philadelphia on October the 26th. Off a reset, the Wild attack here, Zuccarello for Kaprizov. He'll spin it around Rossi right side. At the time of Zuccarello's injury, he was ranked 3rd on the team in points. Certainly nice to have him back as he patrols the left point here. Centers to Kaprizov for a shot that tipped just wide. Boldy to the Karen right wing corner. Scooped it along Rossi. They'll just trickle it free. Zuccarello, a little touch pass. It's Kaprizov through the high slot with a wrister. Harrison, the glove save, will hang on. Then a healthy cross-check in front that Rossi just absorbed from one of the Wild, the Flyers defensemen. It looked like Travis Sanheim, but no further penalties coming.
Yeah, there should have been a penalty on that. Just the way he came at him with that. Well after the whistle, a split second, but it's after the whistle, and you have to be able to stop. But they let him go on that one. I hope that someone says something to the referee.
Wild, 2nd in the Central Division, 2nd in the Western Conference, coming in just a hair behind Winnipeg with their 19-6-4 record. You have some games in hand against the Jets. First half of a back-to-back for Minnesota here today. They'll entertain the Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow. The Golden Knights play in Winnipeg later this afternoon. Here's Scott Lawton behind the net of Fleury. Penalty call coming on Minnesota. So Lawton shorthanded, caused some havoc And a Wild player got a piece of him.
Yeah, it's going to go against Minnesota, and here is the call.
6 Minnesota minor, hook.
Well, they're calling it tight in the early going.
Boy, they ever. Yeah, that's going to be Spurgeon going to the box on that one. Number 46 goes to the box. And that'll even things up here. Still 58 seconds remaining in the penalty to Hathaway of Philadelphia. Faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone. This penalty coming at 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
The Flyers have scored 2 4-on-4 goals, but they've given up 4 already. The Wild still haven't scored or allowed a 4-on-4 goal. By the way, Yakov Trenyan from Minnesota, missing his first game in his first season with the Wild, rolled out with an upper body injury. He was a game-time decision. So Reese Johnson is in the Minnesota lineup, his third game in a Wild sweater. Flyers here attacking with Travis Sanheim will jam on the brakes over the blue line, fired a shot wide past the cage of Fleury. Cam York hustles to it, the Anaheim, California native. He'll just stash it back out in the neutral zone as both teams reset. Morgan Frost laid it along. York to carry ahead. York, the former first rounder in 2019, as his line mates are changing, he'll just peel back again. 18 seconds from now, the Flyers will get an abbreviated power play. Jamie Drysdale finds Owen Tippett. Tippett rolling through center. Carries into the Wild zone. Poke check in the corner by Zach Bogosian. John Merrill to grab it. He'll spin it off his end wall. Ryan Hartman takes a look for a moment. And now the Flyers on a brief power play. Bogosian from his own zone. A long drive. Chest save by Ersson. And taking over Bobby Brink. One of 5 Minnesota natives on this Flyers roster. Only Eric Johnson not in the lineup as far as a player born in Minnesota for Philadelphia. Husadinov shorthanded, steals after Faber pressured, and Husadinov on his backhand right side cuts one all the way down. 35 seconds left on the minor to Spurgeon. Flyers power play 0 for 1 Thursday against Detroit in that 4-1 win. They're 26 in the league as they have some trouble again coming through center. Minnesota scales one down. Ersson leaves it for Sean Couturier. Wild PK has been much maligned. 2 more goals against Thursday. They're 30th out of 32 teams coming in. And on home ice, they have not been very good. 12 power play goals allowed at home, Tom, in 12 games.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign, obviously, for a team. So Minnesota, that's where the specialty teams, and once you get into playoff competition, specialty teams are critical.
Flyers trying to carry along again. Spurgeon will jump out of the box, risk the line and a shot off the chest of Fleury. Each team 0 for 1 with the abbreviated power play try. Fleury now a kick save on a long drive from Zamula. Wild don't clear. Noah Cates, now the late help coming. Ristolainen a shot, and Fleury stayed on his skates, fought it off, and then Ristolainen going hard to the blue paint draws the ire of several green jerseys.
Yeah, Ristolainen, if you remember, scored the game-winning goal in Philadelphia, and that's his only goal he's had all season long. But he moves up from that point position, takes a shot, and there's Flower to make the save. And some good shots coming off the 6 of the Flyers right now. They both shot Minnesota 4-3. No goals as of yet. And both teams getting some personnel changes on the ice.
That goal by Ristolainen against the Flyers in late October, as Tom said, turned out to be the game winner. That made it 6-5. Philadelphia would salt it away with an empty netter. Couturier had 5 points in that game. So did Travis Konechny. Couturier completed the hat trick with the empty netter. That was one of 4 third-period goals the Flyers scored that afternoon. Spurgeon to Ben Jones. The Wild knock it out through center ice. Marcus Foligno now to the weak side to Chisholm. Looked quickly for Jones. That never materialized. And Noah Cates will angle it ahead for Joel Farabee, trying to get around Chisholm. Farabee, right wing corner offensive end, met there by Chisholm, who comes up with this puck for a moment, squeezed it to Spurgeon. Spurgeon rolls it into close proximity for Freddie Gaudreau, and he'll sky it up into the air as both teams get a couple of fresh bodies out. Back is Drysdale. He lost it to the pressure of Marcus Foligno. Foligno to rim one around, waiting for right point Brock Faber. Faber does have 1 career goal against the Flyers. He'll go back to Foligno. Now Gaudreau on the pop-out play, and his stick exploded trying to pull the trigger on a one-timer. The puck leaks out the center. Both teams change. Faber to Brodin. He'll backhand it in. Jonas Brodin has been out since November the 25th. And I get the sense, Tom, as icing waved off here on the Flyers. Fleury has to come out and handle it. Did so well with a lot of pressure bearing in. As Matt Zuccarello now for Minnesota didn't get much on his attempt through center ice. And Philadelphia lofts it back in.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why the icing was called off.
Faber around his end wall. Zuccarello bumped there, absorbed that contact. shifts it around to the left wing side, tipping out at Rossi, kept in by Ristolainen, fired it in front. Oh, did not hold that in Ristolainen, so the Flyers have to clear the line as Faber outlets and Rossi paddles it in. So I'm starting to say that the sense we're getting on both Zuccarello and Brodin is, yeah, they may be back, but I don't really think 100% is where you'd call them yet. They have only really had one practice with the group. That was yesterday, and it was an optional. So both guys skated the last few days, but probably not near 100% yet for either Zuccarello or Brodin, if I'm sort of reading between the lines.
You're absolutely right, Joe. And the one thing is, when you've been off the ice that much, even though you're practicing, you're skating, you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to do, it's not game conditions. Until you get there and get a few games under your belt, you're not at 100%.
Zuccarello injured on November the 14th early in that game against Montreal when he blocked a Brock Faber shot, incidentally, of course, with that very scary, we'll call it mid-body injury. You can look it up if you want more details. I recommend you don't. Johansson of Faber try to slash one down low, intercepted, the Flyers spring it ahead. Joel Farabee walks in. Johansson closed on him beautifully and stripped him on the puck. Marcus Johansson, 4 points his last two games. Now look out, a giveaway. Flyers have it alone in the slot. Farabee trying to angle and a connecting. Glove save, Fleury! Oh, a spectacular sliding stop by Marc-Andre Fleury, robbing Travis Konechny.
Konechny has got to be looking, shaking his head, and nobody does it better than that man right there.
And Konechny, after the whistle, just went by to say something to Fleury with a big smile on his face. Konechny can't believe it. Neither can the Flyers. We're still scoreless. Timeout on the ice. That was a highlight reel stop you'll see for a while. No score in St. Paul. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Your holiday season just got a whole lot smoother with the music of a Yacht Rock Christmas. Christopher Cross, Hall & Oates, and more. Or try a Yacht Soul Christmas. Hosted by Cool of Cool and the Gang.
Soulful and groovy.
Exclusively on the Sirius XM app through Christmas Day, along with dozens of other holiday channels and specials.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
The
NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. This is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
To go here in period number one. No goals as of yet because of the spectacular save by Marc-Andre Fleury, and Konechny went up to him later on and kind of smiled, as I'm sure they both were, and say, nice save, and it certainly was.
Sometimes you got to tip your cap. Full extension there from Fleury with his catching glove as icing here on the Wild waved off. We had two kind of ticky-tack penalties in the first minute or so, first 2 minutes, and couple of icing calls that have been waved off somewhat late. Faber springs one into the offensive zone. On the cycle, it's Marcus Johansson. His cross-ice pass, he'll advise 3-on-1 for Philadelphia if they hurry. Brodin trying to race back, as is Faber. The Flyers here with a shot stopped by Fleury. Good puck movement there. Cam York let it fly. And now Minnesota guilty of icing here with 12:06 to go in the first.
Yeah, Minnesota's making some error in passing out here for whatever reason. I don't know exactly why, but boy, they've got to have more communication on the ice. Some of the passing has been terrible, and Fleury has had to be good. Johansson made a nice play behind his own net earlier in this period, but then he gives one away and gives the opportunity to the Flyers, who were not able to capitalize. Right now, the shots are 6-3 in favor of Philadelphia.
Here's Zamula through the slot with a wrister blocked by Hartman. The Wild now race ahead. Hartman's going to limp to the bench. Marcus Johansson carries in cross-ice pass. Boldy peeled it back for the late help. Chisholm a shot. And Harrison made the save, and he is able to hang on.
Both have been busy. No question. A little bit sloppy at times out here right now.
And knowing both these coaches, John Tortorella prides his team on being tight checking and hard-nosed, and John Hines has talked about that defensive structure and mindset all season. Both coaches through the first 9 minutes or so probably aren't pleased with the scoring chances against.
The face-off is going to be deep in the Philadelphia zone right now.
Boudreau, Foligno, and Jones with Spurgeon and Chisholm. Ben Jones digs his puck loose. Zamula bothers him, so Jones lifts it around to the right of Ayerson, the Philadelphia goaltender, where Ristolainen turned it over. Jones steals, trying to slide to the slot that's blocked. And Noah Cates out of Stillwater, Minnesota, carries ahead before finding Bobby Brink. Brink's first NHL goal came against his hometown team. As Boudreau now will lace one out to center ice. That was last season.
You know what Brink's middle name is?
I don't.
It's Orr. So it's Bobby Orr Brink.
Really?
His dad was a big fan of Bobby Orr.
Where'd you find that nugget?
Oh, I just made it up, I guess, but it sounded good.
Kaprizov through his own slot to Ben Jones. And he'll swing it to the left wing side, Bogosian paddles it in. Harrison out to stop it, shoves it off the glass to his left. Kaprizov knocked it down. Kaprizov tried to throw it towards the slot. That was batted away. Kaprizov hustles to it. Zuccarello goes right back to Kaprizov with a shot. And he missiled it just wide. Hit the top of the dasher, went straight up in the air. And not sure if that went out of play or not, but the officials halt action as everybody was looking around for that puck.
Well, Tom Reed's hotline is coming up after the first period tonight. Get involved now by texting me directly at 64686. That's 64686. One random texter will win a pair of tickets to join us tomorrow here in St. Paul when we play host to the Golden Knights from Las Vegas. They've always a good team.
So when I need to text you in the future, should I also try 64686?
Yes, we'll make it 867.
And
just wait till I answer.
Yeah, see if you get back. Rodin to Faber, right point off the one draw. Faber had a helper on the only Wild goal Thursday. It's chunked down low. Rossi comes up with it. Try to get away from the pressure of York. Backdoor pass. Zuccarello maybe hit the left arm of Harrison on that chance in tight. Boy, another good scoring opportunity for Minnesota.
Yeah, both teams had good chances in scoring.
Rossi plucks one along. Kaprizov tries to hustle to it. York was there first, but Rossi kept it in. Rossi then fanned on a shot right side. And the Flyers skated out to center ice with Travis Konecny pounding it in. He was just shy of the red line, though, and they call this icing.
Yeah, he's about a foot on the other side. He's looking like, really? But the icing call is made. Well, don't miss a moment this season by joining the season ticket member family. Become a Flex member today with a fully customizable plan. You can learn more at wild.com/season. Minnesota's had a very good season so far, obviously. You look at their home record in the 12 games they played, 7-4-1 in that stretch, 15 points. Haven't scored near as many goals at home on a regular basis as we'd like to see, but that can change in a hurry.
Hartman wins the drawback cleanly. Spurgeon, a shot tipped, and it clangs off Ayerson, and he'll scoop it up in his glove.
There's an opportunity for Minnesota to win the draw in the offensive zone, and it results in a good scoring opportunity for the Wild.
Flyers are 12th best in the faceoff circle in the NHL, led by Sean Couturier, 10th in the league with just under 300 faceoff wins this season. Hartman on the draw for the Wild. Ryan Hartman had 4 shots and 4 hits Thursday, but boy, they could use to get him going offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's struggled this year, no question about it, for whatever reason, but hopefully he'll turn around in a hurry. Just a couple goals will give him that vote of confidence in himself, I believe.
Hartman 7 points in 24 games for the Wild. As a bouncing puck comes in wide to the right of Fleury, he'll toss it off his end wall. Getting there is Matvei Michkov. Michkov lifts it along, but Matt Boldy takes over for Minnesota. He fanned on his pass. Morgan Frost trickles it free. Here's Owen Tippett. Tippett, knifing past Spurgeon. Carries around the Wild net, sent it up top, wrist a line in a drive, and it's tipped out of play on the flyby by Morgan Frost.
Boy, lots of opportunities for the Flyers in this hockey game as well. We get a chance to clean up the ice a little bit and maybe come together and talk about what can we do better, guys.
Halfway home in the first, shots are 6-5 in favor of Minnesota. No score against the Flyers. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You have a job and a paycheck. Sure, that usually works for keeping your finances on track. But there are times when having access to the money you've already worked for can be a game changer. In-between times are the ones that can make a big difference in your life. In comes Daily Pay. With Daily Pay, you can access your earned wages when you want them. Because your hard work happens on the daily, you should be able to reap your rewards on the daily. Find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
Scoreboard update. Games in progress, including in New Jersey. The Blackhawks lead the Devils 1-0. 3:13 left to go in the second in New York at Madison Square Garden. The Kings are up big over the Rangers. 5-1. 7.5 minutes left to go in the second. Amongst the games coming up later on, a good one coming up in Edmonton. The Golden Knights taking on the Oilers. Of course, the Golden Knights will be in St. Paul tomorrow for a puck drop around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow at XL Energy Center. That's it for now. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, a little bit of delay here for some reason. I'm not quite sure. It just seems to be slow. The pace is slowing down when it comes to dropping these pucks, and usually they want to get it moving in a hurry. I assume it has to be for a TV timeout, because we're always right on top of it.
They don't wait on us, Tom Reed. I'll tell you that much. Wild from right to left on your radio dial. 9:40 to go in the first. No score. Minnesota all-time 12-17-4 against Philadelphia. 7 of those 12 wins here at home. Bobby Brink behind the Wild net. Send it up to the point. Nick Seeler hands it along. Drysdale will just smack it down low. Skips around the boards. Husnudinov, Lauko, and Johnson for Minnesota with Merrill and Bogosian. Good play by Husnudinov to knock a puck free, but Drysdale crashed down and keeps the Flyers in business. Jamie Drysdale near the goal line, stabbing at a puck. Now he'll emerge, cutting out to the slot. Fired a backhander. Flurry the save. It's loose for a moment, and Lauko scoops it up into the air and out through center.
I tell you, the Flyers are moving hard. They're skating well and moving the puck in the offensive zone, and Minnesota's having trouble behind their own blue line.
9 total goals and back-to-back wins for Philadelphia. 6-2-2 in their last 10. 5 of those games requiring overtime as Wild clear out the center ice here. Picking it up and sweeping it in, Garnet Hathaway. He's bumped by Foligno. Those two guys, each their team leaders in hits. Hathaway 10th in the NHL. Foligno just slightly higher in that category in the hit department. Minnesota flings one in. Jones on the forecheck caused some havoc. Foligno able to get to it from low to high. Hits Brodin across the blue line. Shooting one. Stopped by Harrison. He found it at the last moment, and the Flyers knocked the rebound all the way down. It's icing on Philadelphia. And now we got to fight at center ice. It's Foligno and Hathaway. After the icing call, the neutral zone, Marcus Foligno and Garnet Hathaway. They'll engage. Bang! Right by Foligno, and down goes Hathaway right off the hop.
I'm not sure if he hit him or whether he just pulled him down. But nonetheless, Hathaway went down like a sack of potatoes.
Tom, I've mentioned it a few times lately. When it comes to Foligno, he doesn't seem like he wants to tie up first. He wants to lead with a
Philadelphia
big right.
Minnesota 17 each, 5 fighting.
Yeah, he did catch him with that right, but also at the same time, he just kind of grabbed and pulled him down. And Hathaway, he felt that one.
So he grabbed with the left on the scruff of Hathaway's jersey just as he was firing the right, and sort of that combo sent Hathaway tumbling to the ice.
11:37, the time of the penalties. Fighting, so they'll get a chance to rest.
Minnesota number 17, Marcus Foligno. Each fighting dangerous at 11:37.
I believe that's the third tilt of the season for Foligno. The fights have picked up a bit for the Wild. They started the year without many scraps at all, but Lauko dropped the gloves Thursday. Foligno here tonight. Or today, I should say. It's Kaprizov. Cuts past Couturier at center. Wands one along Zuccarello. In the right wing corner. Sent it back. Favor a hurried shot. That glanced wide. Brodin to it. His drive squeezed through Harrison, but leaks out past the back post. Kaprizov hustles to it. Wild winning some foot races here, but Kaprizov looks to center. Scott Lawton cuts it off and skies it the other way. Lawton with those 4 goals for Philadelphia Thursday. The first Flyers player since John LeClair in 2002 to have a 4-goal game. Flyers franchise leader in 4-goal games, Tim Kerr. who did it many times in his career. In fact, 4 times with 4 goals in a game for Tim Kerr of the Flyers. Johansson on an intercept for Minnesota. Punched it along for Declan Chisholm. Will weave it up ice. Hartman tips it. Back is Igor Zamula. Zamula cruising it back out to center ice. Spurgeon goes D to D. Chisholm above the red line, left wing boards. Able to drop it into Philadelphia ice. A little bit more than 7 minutes left in the first. No score from St. Paul. And look out, this puck batted out of midair by Morgan Frost just over the Wild bench into the stands. Almost hit Nordy, the Wild mascot back there. With 7:03 to go in the first.
Yeah, you talk about Scott Laughton, also 4 goals in that 4-1 win against Detroit. He had 9 shots on net in that hockey game. So 4 and 9 is not bad at all. They had a total of 36 shots in the game. He had a quarter of them. And when you shoot, you usually can score some goals.
Flyers win the center ice face-off. Drysdale punches it in. Chisholm back. Good breakout pass to Hartman. His feet at the skates of Johansson, but Klein free for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon off to Marcus Johansson. Johansson checked by the Eden Prairie, Minnesota native Nick Seeler. And Seeler now able to give way to his fence partner as it's carried along by the Flyers. Boldy broke it up deep in his own end. Ripped around the boards. Pinching in was Drysdale. He'll emerge with this puck. Carved up near the blue line. Fed Seeler. Seeler had a goal and assist against the Wild in the earlier meeting of the series. Seeler now on it again. Left wing hash marks down below the goal line where Michkov gave it away. Chisholm lost his puck. A backhanded shot by Tippett. Fought off by Fleury. Oh, and Tippett to his own rebound. He'll skate around with the right circle before feeding it to Michkov, the NHL leader in points by rookie players this year. And a shot here is handled by Fleury from along the boards. That came from Seeler. And the Wild now able to connect with Matt Boldy. Hands it off to Ben Jones as Minnesota finishes a change. Jones scoops it in off the end glass. Kaprizov on the forecheck. Dug it free. Got it to the point. Bogosian rolled the way of John Merrill. Off the end wall. Kaprizov scores! Oh, what a shot by Kirill Kaprizov. An impossible angle. He banks it home. And the Wild have a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, good shot coming from the point position to begin with. But Kaprizov is there also getting that rebound coming off the boards. And he comes in from the opposite side to the left of the goaltender. When that puck ricochets over there, all of a sudden he is able to just be in a position to take it. Takes a shot from an impossible angle, but you know, he's amazing.
Well, Tom, the other night I talked about the impossible angle, and you said, really, for him it's not impossible. We've seen him bank pucks off goaltenders' masks before, right by the ear hole. He did it to Jake Ottinger in this building. And he does it now to Sam Ersson, hitting the left side of his mask from basically the goal line and getting it to deflect in.
Minnesota! 19th goal of the season for number 97, Kirill Kaprizov. Assist to number 4, John Merrill, and number 24, Zach Bogosian. Time of the goal, 14-18.
Well, nice to see that set of defensemen also getting some recognition for their play on that. That was a nice play by Bogosian, getting the puck across his other defenseman. Merrill takes a shot off the backboards. Kaprizov puts it away.
Flyers are offside with 5:22 to go in the first. Timeout on the ice. Kirill Kaprizov with his 19th of the year, and the Wild a 1-0 lead at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with a new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard. You have to shovel,
Another blizzard. You slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Well, 5:22 to go here in period number one. Minnesota's taking the lead in the shot department. More importantly, they're taking the lead in the goal department. They have 1-0 on their side. Face-off outside Minnesota's defensive zone by the penalty box area.
Wild 13-2-2 when scoring first. Big to not only play with the lead, of course, but to get the first one, because the Flyers this year just 2 regulation losses when they score first. So for the Wild to get in front 1-0, numbers trending in their right direction as Philadelphia offside here with 5:08 to go in the first.
I think Torch has to be talking to himself on that bench right now, wondering what is going on here. There's some miscues on both sides of passing. Offside call there. That when your teammate's got the puck, you got to make sure he gets over the blue line before you take off.
Wild had allowed the first goal in 3 straight and 4 of 5 coming in. Thursday was the first time they had a first period goal in their last 5 games. So again, important for the Wild to continue to play well in the opening frame. Sort of sets the table for them the rest of the way. Minnesota 7-4-1 at home this year and 13 games above 500 overall. Brodin through his own slot. Hartman knifed it to Johansson. It comes right back to Hartman. He'll get it out through center. Reaching forwards, Boldy. It was a touch too far. Couturier dropped it off. Good play then by Johansson. Center ice to swat it back the other way. Jamie Drysdale in a regroup for the Flyers. That's a spin away from the pressure of Boldy. Drysdale acquired from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for Cutter Gauthier last season. As icing here on Philadelphia, 4:37 to go in the first. The Wild with the game's only goal.
Yeah, 15 games today in the National Hockey League, of which all 8 in the Central Division will be playing. I think the only 2 teams not playing. I think it's Carolina and the New York Islanders. But everyone else is playing. Minnesota, of course, has another game tomorrow. That's a 5 o'clock game, I believe, here with the Vegas Golden Knights coming to town.
Yeah, but a great crowd expected again for that one. So haven't gotten your tickets, I would do so immediately, as expecting a sellout for tomorrow against the Vegas Golden Knights. Great crowd here today as well as Kaprizov carries the Wild ahead. Wristed a shot, it was blocked. Again, Philadelphia leads the league in shots blocked, and they were second in that department a year ago. It's a staple of John Tortorella teams. As Kaprizov a one-timer here. That hit a body. Faber couldn't keep in right point. Tom, boy, we know it. We've seen it. We talk about it all the time. But Zuccarello back with Kaprizov, just already the innate sense of where the other's going to be, the passing chemistry. It's second to none across the NHL, really.
Yeah, and that just doesn't happen happenstance. It's one of those situations. They work at it. You look at it in practices, and especially after practice, they'll sit on the ice by themselves for about 45 minutes and just work on different drills and have fun doing it.
So Mulla to wrist the line, and ahead now for Bobby Brink, who goes rink wide. Tyson Forrester knocked it down with his glove, sent it behind the Wild net, where Chisholm tries to slow down the Philadelphia attack. It's Noah Cates. It rolls up to the blue line as this loose puck. Philadelphia holds in. Forster a shot, hit a sea of bodies. Cates turned and shot one. Chisholm blocked that to the corner. Spurgeon off looking for Freddie Gaudreau. Wild running around a bit here, hemmed in their own zone with the Philadelphia forecheck causing some havoc. Finally icing here on Minnesota. Off the tape of Chisholm halts play.
Yeah, boy, they need to unlock something here. Something's not happening that should be happening. That's moving the puck proper. They all seem to be little out of sync right now.
Yeah, coaches often, players as well, talk about being connected, right? The 5-man connected unit. And to your point, Tom, I think little disjointed at time for the Wild right now. Remember when John Hines took over last year, used that term predictable. They want to be predictable in their own zone so they can exit cleanly. And at times here today, that's been a bit of a problem for the Wild. And they've got the 1-0 lead. As behind his own net is Jared Spurgeon. Knocked it free for Chisholm. He overskated. Freddie Gaudreau digs the loose puck free. Carries out right side. Floated one that hit Ben Jones. And careens free for Owen Tippett. Tippett quickly up. Michkov trying to dance free. Michkov got knocked to the ice. Giveaway now by Philadelphia allows Lauko to chisel one through center. Sealer on a regroup finds Owen Tippett. Former Florida Panthers draft pick winds it in. Fleury with his goal stick leaves it for Zach Bogosian. 2:40 to go in the opening period. Shots are 9-7 Minnesota. They've got a 1-0 lead. Reese Johnson tries to charge in. Hathaway dumped him to the ice. Foligno now in on the forecheck. The Fighting Majors over, of course, to Foligno and Hathaway. Both those players on the ice as Merrill with the left point drive. That hit a stick blade. A breakaway pass as Scott Lawton in alone trying to dance to his backhand. And he had stripped free, but a penalty call.
I was wondering if they're going to call a penalty shot because he was in the clear there, never got the shot away. But here is the call.
Minnesota minor penalty number 4, high stick.
So high stick is the call.
So the Flyers, Tom, they've had some odd man rushes in this hockey game.
They have. That's why I say things are just a little bit out of sync for Minnesota right now. This penalty coming at 17 minutes and 41 seconds of the first period. Minnesota leading by 1-0 score.
Wild penalty kill has given up a goal or more in 6 of the last 7 games. Again, it's an area that's come under scrutiny as of late. Off the face-off. It is Michkov right circle, one-timer. That's in the glove of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, look at the last 7 games. Minnesota's given up 8 power play goals against out of 20 chances. The PK has just been terrible. Especially teams win games for you. And not when you're letting them in like that. So hopefully they can kill this one off. It's not that they're not working at it. I mean, they're trying different situations. Just as they haven't found the connection yet.
Foligno and Couturier on the face-off. It's dug free by the Flyers at the blue line. Drysdale, the Bobby Brink left circle. Brink stops at the goal line. Got it to Konechny. Right back to Brink. Now up top, Drysdale again. Brink left circle. Down low, Konechny. Shooting. Hit the outside of the net. Try to go short side high. Battle for it. Flyers emerge. Konechny. Off the Brink. Slipped up top. Drysdale. Right side, Couturier. Hustled it along. Konechny. Faked the shot. High slot, Drysdale. Left circle a bit. Blocked out in front. That came from Konechny. It comes to the point again. Drysdale. Right circle, Couturier. Back to Drysdale. That shot blocked. This time, Husnudinov in the lane. Faber wrestles his man down. Flyers keep it alive. They spring it to Couturier. Dancing at the right face-off dot. Into the corner now for Matvei Michkov. Former 7th overall pick in 2023. He'll feed it to Drysdale at center point. Back to Michkov, who's got 12 power play points on the season. He'll fire one. Knocked away in front. They have got through to Fleury. Connecting to the rebound. Up top, Drysdale. Off then for Brink, and he went between the legs, stolen by Marcus Foligno, and that was a much-needed intercept by Minnesota.
Boy, was it ever. Give the Flyers a lot of credit. They're moving the puck. They seem to be very confident there with the man advantage out there.
That was essentially an entire minute shorthanded in their zone for the Wild. Flyers carry back along now. Owen Tippett, a toe drag move and a shot, lasered it high and wide, and that caught the netting. 53.3 seconds left in the first, 35 seconds left on the minor to Merrill.
And we've got the hotline coming up here after the first period tonight. After the second period, we've got Lou Nanny going to join us for a little talk about the World Juniors coming to the United States, coming here to Twin Cities, primarily here in St. Paul.
Flyers have it here with Zamula skating across the blue line. He'll feather it to Owen Tippett. Tippett at the left circle. Down to the goal line it comes. Tyson Forster goes back to Tippett. Up top, Zamula fakes a shot, fakes a pass, and moved it to Morgan Frost, who fanned on his one-timer. Fleury flopped down on his stomach. Gets quickly back to his skates as the Flyers reset. Zamula walking in. Now Frost, right circle, waiting. They'll just shove it the way of Joel Farabee. Farabee down low to Frost. Fleury looks to his left. Frost sent it to the high slot. Tippett dancing with it. Shooting one. Fleury fought it off. That puck may have caught the goalpost as well. Flyers with the Wild back to full strength, still trying to keep it in the Minnesota zone. Digging it loose, Freddie Gaudreau. Punch it off the board. Seconds winding down here in the first. Is attacked down the ice by John Merrill. And icing here with 1.4 on the clock. But the Wild PK, Tom, you want to talk about effort and great goaltending. They got it there on that sequence.
Yeah, they certainly did. And everything's collapsing down by Fleury also, trying to give a lot of support in that area. But boy, they give the Flyers credit. They're moving the puck, they're moving their legs, and they're getting chances here right now. Shots still Minnesota in the lead in that department, 9-8, but a lot of good puck possession by the Flyers in Minnesota's defensive zone. And it starts with the face-offs, Joe, as we've talked about before. Not just on the penalty killing, but also in the 5-on-5.
You surprised John Tortorella's not pulling his goaltender here?
Well, if I was playing, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
1.4 seconds left in the period. Remember, the Jets scored a goal in this fashion. They're off the face-off, a quick shot. Hit a body, never got through as Konechny let it fly. The Jets scored that late first period goal against the Wild with their goaltender pulled on an offensive zone draw. But Minnesota gets out of the first period with a 1-0 lead, out shooting the Flyers 9-8 here on home ice. Zach Bogosian will chat with Tom Reed here in a moment, plus a Tom Reed's hotline. Sounds like you're going to be busy here at the first intermission, too.
I certainly will be.
1-0, the Wild in front. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
How about Josh Allen? He's amazing. Right now, he's the NFL MVP.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Pittsburgh Steelers are for real with Russell Wilson under center. He is red hot.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy joining us.
We have a hell of a culture here, and it's something I'm very proud of. From the field to the front office, nobody covers the game like Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes, Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, loose in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Between periods, Wild and Flyers, a good one here on a matinee in St. Paul. Kevin Falmus with Zach Bogosian. Fun first period there, Zach. Let's talk about two of the highlights from that period. The goal set up by you and Johnny Merrill, finished off by Kirill Kaprizov. Is there such a thing as an impossible angle for number 97?
Oh, I mean, he's a special player, obviously. Really fun to watch the way he's really taken on the leadership role and just keeps elevating his game for our group. So, he's the driver of the bus, and we're lucky to have him.
Goaltending has been a great thing for this team, no matter who's between the pipes. The save by Marc-Andre Fleury, though, early on in this first period, talk about vintage Flower. He robbed Konechny, and he got that leather on it. What'd you see from your side?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they made a nice play there. The guy had the puck in the middle and slid it wide. Flower dives across and makes a great save. So nothing that we haven't seen from him before. Nothing surprising there. But it was a fun moment.
It's been next man up mentality all season long for this squad, but you get a couple of bodies back in the lineup tonight. Matt Zuccarello up front, but how about the return of Jonas Brodin, a sight for sore eyes?
Yeah, obviously two huge parts of our team. We've missed them. I thought a lot of guys have stepped up in their absence during that run, but it's always good to see 25 and 36 get back.
Bogo, good start to the game. Go get him in the second period.
Thank you.
There you go. Wild defenseman Zach Bogosian for joining us in the intermission. We'll get him a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Wild lead the Flyers 1-0 after one period of play. Kirill Kaprizov with his 19th of the year from Merrill and Bogosian. 14-18 of the first. That's the difference of this hockey game. 1-0 after one period. When we continue, we've got Tom Reed's hotline. Get those questions in now. Add your name, where you're texting from, send it into 64686. We're giving away a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Golden Knights tomorrow in St. Paul. You could be a lucky winner, but only if you participate. That's next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Hey, Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild.
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Old Dutch potato chips.
This is Jonas Brodin of the Minnesota Wild.
And I'm Brock Faber. Don't miss us in action right here all season long.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues for the Wild as they host Jack Eichel and the Vegas Golden Knights. Pregame is at 4:45. Puck drops just after 5. That's followed by the reigning Stanley Cup champs in St. Paul Wednesday as the Wild host the Panthers starting at 8:15.
Listen to Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell every night.
Exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
At Anderson, we understand the challenges of builders and contractors better than most. Here's proof from real pros.
The best service department is the one you don't need, right? But when you do, I know they're going to be there.
The 400 series has earned my trust to the point where we have put it in our own home.
When somebody says Anderson, everybody responds quality.
Helping builders and contractors craft their legacy. Anderson, the #1 trusted window and door brand. Claims based on 2022 Anderson brand surveys of U.S. contractors and builders.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What? With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save. So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done? Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account. That's a flex. This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You can win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or Wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
1-0, the Wild lead the Flyers after one period of play in St. Paul. Good hockey game, good matinee. Tom Reed enjoying the festivities up there in the Al Shaver press box. I very much enjoyed my conversation with Zach Bogosian, Tom, and he was just like with you. There is no such thing as an impossible angle, apparently, for Kirill Kaprizov.
And I think he's absolutely right. I mean, but it comes at practice. You watch him at the practices. Kevin, he does it every practice. He goes out and he'll just shoot there. He'll have guys feed it to him, and he just does not miss. I mean, it's amazing. The skill level of the players today is amazing.
There's no doubt. How about the save by Marc-Andre Fleury, too, on Konechny? And then his reaction afterwards, just a big smile right in the face of Konechny going, got you this time.
And that's why they love him. He is so, he's so gracious to the opposition, too. You don't see him. Bennington's the only guy I think that from St. Louis, the only guy I think he really challenged him to a fight. But Marc-Andre Fleury is just one of those guys you love to be around. He's great in the locker room. He's even better on the ice.
All right, let's get to these questions here, and we'll start with this one from Rick H. Since the last time we chatted, Tom, we know that Jake Middleton went down with injury, and the Wild go to the waiver wire and bring in Travis Dermott from the Edmonton Oilers. What's he bring to the team, asks Rick H.
I think he brings, obviously, some experience, some depth to this hockey club also, and it's not easy. You're trying to find high-end players. You need a left-handed shot, too, and that was really an important part of it. And even Mike Russo said that on the other game when we were talking. He said, they need a left-handed shot ASAP. Well, they did that night. He was absolutely right. So, but he brings some experience out there also. And more of a defenseman. He's not going to get you a lot of points and things like that. But right now you need help in your own zone, and we can see that. Right, even in this game tonight, Minnesota's a little bit lax in behind their own blue line. But hopefully that'll change over the next period.
This one comes in from the 952 area code. Tom, what do we know about the Jake Middleton injury? How long do we expect him to be out of the lineup?
You know, Kevin, I don't have any idea. We know it's a hand injury of some type, but we don't know the extent of the hand injury, and we don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be a month. I think they have to evaluate this, and I'm sure they're looking at every possible scenario as to what they can do. But it's a huge loss for Minnesota. He has been so good with his hockey club, and you know, he at the time of the injury, he was leading the league in the plus 22. I mean, that's amazing, and he's one of those guys that just loves to play. He just wants to be a part of the team. But because he's on the long-term injury list, that means he has to sit at least 10 games or 24 days, whichever is the longest. So I have to count the days before he can get back in there, if he's able to get back in by then. I don't know if there's surgery connected with it or not. That's what I have to wait for the management to tell us that.
Remains to be seen. Here's a fun one from Elaine. Well, not fun when I tell you what the question is, but it's from a fun location. Elaine is on the beach in Baja, California. Wouldn't you like to change places with Elaine? No matter how much you like hockey, how would you like to be on the beach right now in California, Tom?
Well, is there any fires or earthquakes going on? Otherwise, I'll
mudslides, right sharks, eels, they got it all. But anyway, the question from Elaine is, Tom, have you ever broken a bone blocking a shot? I bet back in the day, you, as a defenseman, you got in front of a few blasts.
Yeah, I broke the toes. I think the most serious one I had was when I got hit in the side of the head I went down to block a slap shot, and the guy shot wide of the net, where my head was. And I think I told the story before that hit me in the side there and broke the jaw in 2 places and broke the orbital bone and the cheekbone and a few stitches, but they had to wire me shut. So I was wired for 6 weeks where I just could eat,
strained peas,
pureed, liquid, and
applesauce.
And I missed one game. That's all I missed.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, in those days, if your legs are working, you're playing.
Yeah, and you don't get paid unless you play. So yeah, I think you guys made it a point to get out there. I very much look forward to your conversation with Lou Nanne in the second intermission. I know you're going to talk a lot about the World Juniors, but maybe you can bring up the fact that he removed a handful of your teeth for you again with that cross check.
He's colorblind. I'm sure he is. that was in Pittsburgh. That's another story.
It is. This one from the 612 area code. Tom, your favorite for the upcoming Four Nations Cup? It's incredible. That's right around the corner, really. You get past the Christmas holiday and the New Year, and then that Four Nations Cup is going to be on our table.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the different teams and so on, and Canada looks to be the best, then followed by the U.S., followed by Sweden, followed by Finland, and those four. It's going to be exciting. And Minnesota's got a number of players, of course, who are going to be a part of that, which is great. I mean, you got Faber's going to be there. You got Jules Eriksson-Ek will be there, and Brodin and Gustafsson, all representing Sweden. Those 3 guys, and of course, you've got John Hines, the assistant coach, and Billy Guerin, who's a GM. So Minnesota is well represented on that squad.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Also fun when we talk to the guys in the intermission and the postgame. We give them a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. The question from the 612 area code is, Tom, they give away these gift certificates all the time for joining the show. Have you ever seen the players come down to the pub there in St. Paul and enjoy a meal?
I think they sell them. Yeah, we've had a few players come in, but not very often. They like to do it when there's nobody around, which is fine. But they pass them off to their families, their friends, and whatnot. But they you know what? They never said no to you, Kevin. So that's a good sign.
That's exactly right. One of my favorite memories. I don't know if you remember this. This was a long time ago. They called it the Fuzzy Foreigners. We did a Hockey Unplugged with a bunch of Wild players down at Tom Reed's. Jamie McLennan was basically the moderator, and he had like 5 or 6 guys that didn't speak English, like a Lubomir Sekarash. I can't remember who. Ladislav Benesek. I mean, just awesome names. But I remember them all in a line there at your pub there, and we fired some questions out. We've done some pretty fun things down there.
Yes, we certainly have over the years. It's been great.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
That is Tom Reed upstairs in the Al Shaver press box. We will give away a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Golden Knights tomorrow. We'll give those away at random, and I'll hit you up with a text. If you don't win, you can come down here. Scattered seats are available. Wild.com/hockey tickets. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Here's the tag. 24/7 goal. He missed the target.
Sirius
Draisaitl back the other way for the Oilers. Draisaitl scores.
Kaprizov with his 19th of the year from Maryland Bogosian at the 14-18 mark. That's the difference of this hockey game. Marc-Andre Fleury in goal, stopped all 8 shots. He faced the Wild 0 for 1 on the power play. The Flyers are 0 for 2. The second is next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
The second period from St. Paul, Minnesota. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild in front of the Flyers, 1-0. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. The second, Flyers from right to left. Tom, what stands out about the first period from a Minnesota perspective?
I don't think they were as sharp as they wanted to be in that first period. Hopefully that will change. But I'm looking at the second period by the Philadelphia Flyers. They have scored 26 goals. They've given up 42. That's a negative 16. Wow. They better be on their toes in this one. Minnesota's got to find a way to get some more shots to the net, also quality shots.
Flyers to a loose puck, just had a Brock Faber. Philadelphia angles it out to the neutral zone, and a hand pass on Minnesota. Or maybe an offside infraction. Either way, 20 seconds played in the second.
Well, attention to our season ticket members. Once again, we're going to reward you for listening all season long. So get ready to earn those forever reward points. Enter the code SNOWBIRD. That's SNOWBIRD. Is it coming? We'll find out. You'll receive 100 bonus points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow.
Tom, wouldn't you consider Lou Nanne a snowbird?
Yes, I certainly would.
Yeah, and guess who's here today?
He makes his home now in Florida.
Your former teammate who will join you at the second intermission, as you mentioned earlier. Johansson to Boldy, back to Johansson, left circle offensive zone. Lost it for a moment, carved it down below the goal line. Flyers move it to Travis Sanheim, who was named to Team Canada, the Four Nations faceoff. Now it is Hartman with a dangerous cross-ice pass. It's tipped away. Joel Farabee rescues it for the Flyers, and this play is offside. Boy, Tom, that's another offside on Philadelphia where it looked like they had something going.
Well, they did, and you have to hold up, and I've said that time and time again, but that was connecting in the far side who took off, and he was probably 4 feet over the blue line before the puck was. That's being undisciplined. And you can bet that the coach, when he looks at that, he'd be very happy. Not that he ever is, but he actually is a pretty good guy. I really like him. He tells you exactly what he thinks.
Caught some of his media availability yesterday. Both teams a practice day. Flyers, of course, before traveling here to the Twin Cities. And he was about his usual colorful self, John Tortorella, as an icing call in Minnesota. With a minute 24 going by in the second period. They asked him about the Michigan play, right, which he's been very emphatic, saying it has no place in the game of hockey, picking up the puck, lacrosse-style move. Michkov tries it a lot, the Russian rookie for Philadelphia. And Tortorella basically said, I've lost that battle. I told him there's better plays to be made, but I've lost about giving up, essentially, telling these guys to stop trying that stuff. When you're asking him a question as a media member, you really never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's like your question. He won't answer it.
Well, he'll tell you right away, too.
He'll just walk out.
Kaprizov spins off a check, left it back. Chisholm opened the slot, tried to fire one to Zuccarello. That tipped away, and Zuccarello blew a tire. Flyers stretch it along. Here is Matvei Michkov. Michkov with a pass. That clanged off some skates. Just kept in by Sealer at the blue line. Whipped along by Tippett, dealt now behind the wild cage, where a breakout right wing side for Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov faked the long pass, sweeps back in his own zone, then banked one off the board. Zuccarello dealt with by Cam York. Zuccarello now kicking it ahead, and the Flyers have it with Travis Sanheim. Sanheim to York, off the boards for Scott Lawton, who twists it in. Fleury stops it with his goal stick, skies it off the top of the dasher. Spurgeon jabbed at it. Flyers get there with Lawton, wheeling it around. Sanheim tips back, a drive by Hathaway, and he hammered it wide. Kept in left point here by York. York off to Ryan Poehling, another Minnesota native on this Flyers roster. His shot knuckled to the corner wide. A little bit more than 2.5 minutes gone by in period two. Wild with a 1-0 lead as Foligno turns a puck over. Boudreau, though, able to muscle it out on a second effort for the Wild to at least get it through center. Sanheim rumbles back in. Foligno stripped him. Foligno spinning with the puck. Left it to Chisholm. Whacked along right side hoping for Boudreau. Followed up by Foligno, but 3 Flyers there. And the white sweaters come over the blue line now connecting. Bumped and knocked off the puck. Faber and up by his pass for Foligno. A home run feed. And that goes too far. It's icing on the Wild.
You mentioned a couple times about Nick Sealer, number 24 out here. 31 years of age now. And, he's being from Eden Prairie area. Won a couple of high school AA titles in his high school days. But the thing is, he has really developed in a very, very positive way. I mean, there was a time where he didn't know if he was going to be able to make this team, make the NHL or not. But boy, he has really developed. I really like the way he plays. He's a tough kid too. I mean, he'll go to battle for you.
Glad you brought that up because, tough, rugged kid, good kid too, but a lot of time in the minors. And as you know, Tom, defensemen sometimes, they take a little bit longer.
That they do, yes. Yeah, I mean, you look at forwards, I mean, usually they're ready about 26, 27, 20. Those are their best years. But with defensemen, it takes about 5 years from the time they break in to really understand the game.
Sealer played 99 career games with Minnesota. He's now at over 300 in his NHL career. Couturier sweeps one behind the Wild net. Travis Konechny, the team leader in points and goals, goes back to Couturier, the Flyers captain. He tried to slide one in front, blocked by Freddie Gaudreau in good defensive posture, and Boldy gets it out the center.
Well, Minnesota, when they get the puck, they don't have a lot of free time with it. They got a couple of jerseys right on top of them.
Yeah, John Hines yesterday told us the Flyers play a north game, and that the net fronts at both ends would be important for the Wild. Again, the Flyers do a great job blocking shots. You got to get pucks through, and they're going to crash the net. So Minnesota, both goal creases, going to try and win that battle, and they've got to attack with speed, as they do here with Husnudinov centering. Brodin didn't have a shot lane. He'll curl back offensive zone left side, finding Ben Jones for a drive, and Jones' shot caught the glass. Noah Cates now for Philadelphia. 5th round pick in 2017. They'll work it ahead to Brink. Brink bottled up. Reese Johnson tries to carve it loose for Minnesota. He will. Steering it the way of Brodin, who goes D-to-D to Faber at his own left circle. Back off the end boards for Brodin. Punched along right side. Icing waved off here as two players at center neutralize one another. So Harrison now with his goal stick to shove it along the boards. Sealer headmans. It's tapped in by Hathaway. Merrill retreats for the Wild. Merrill carved one into the corner. Nobody there. Trying to spike it in front was Hathaway. Not much on that attempt. And now Kaprizov deep in his own zone for the Wild. Nifty pass. Bit dangerous, but through his own slot and onto the tape of Ryan Hartman. Hartman feathers one right side. Bogosian leads the rush. Bogosian just angled it down near the goal line. Flyers tap it away from that pressure. And Philadelphia gets it out to the neutral zone where Zach Bogosian will come back and pick it up. Feed Ryan Hartman. Hartman through the center ice area. Weaves past a couple of checks. Hartman over the blue line. Spikes it around the boards. Marcus Johansson gathers. Johansson tried to center. That was blocked. Left along for Kaprizov, who was wrapped up for a moment. The Wild spin one on the point. Chisholm left side. D-to-D Spurgeon outside the right circle. Gives it back to Chisholm. He'll float it the way of Johansson. Taking a shot. It's blocked to the corner by Sanheim. Kaprizov hustles to it to keep the Wild in business. Kirill Kaprizov up near the blue line. Faked the pass. Kept it in the zone somehow. Then threw one to the slot that was stolen away. And then a stretch pass for Hathaway goes errant. Flurry out to move it along. That's both teams' change. A little bit more than 6 minutes played in the second. 1-0 lead for Minnesota here at home. Foligno pops it in left side. Back was Drysdale. Philadelphia looking for Owen Tippett now in the neutral zone. He and Faber come together. Tippett ended up in a heap. Play continues. Gaudreau for Boldy. Matt Boldy rumbles along for the Wild. Boldy cuts deep into the offensive zone right wing corner. Shoved it along for Foligno. Given to Brodin. He'll drive one wide. It kicks up to the right point for Faber to keep it. Off to Boldy. Boldy rink wide. Brodin threw one in front that hit the skate of Freddie Gaudreau and just went over the crossbar. Drysdale pinned up, but helping out defensively, Morgan Frost. He'll sky it ahead. Now Tippett fumbled it for a moment. He's got some room right side into the Wild zone. Tippett now charges it around the boards. It's helped back at the point. Where's Zamula? Will filter it to wrist to line it. Then to Tippett for a right circle wrister. Blocked by Faber to the corner. Flyers try to come out in front. And a penalty call in Minnesota is being denied that pass. That path was Noah Cates.
Minnesota minor penalty 12. Hooking. And there's Boldy picking up, and that's his 5th penalty in the last 3 games, including this one.
7:09 into the second period. Flyers get to another man advantage when we come back. The Wild have the game's only goal. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
It's
It's Carrie's country. You're just living in it.
You can tell Carrie's in her element. These are her people. This is what she loves to do.
Carrie Underwood's own channel, featuring live performances, brand new music, and never-before-heard stories from the idol-turned-country icon.
You want to hear a variety. You don't want to hear the same songs. You want new things for your ear to gravitate toward.
Travel to Carrie's country anytime. Sirius XM Channel 60.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Not quite halfway through the contest right now. 12:51 remaining in period number 2. Shots are 9 apiece right now. Minnesota with the only goal of this hockey game. That's scored by Kaprizov. Who else but Kaprizov? He's going to get it. That's number 19 for him in the air. Merrill picks up an assist, number 3, and Bogosian gets another assist. That's number 4.
29th career opening goal for Kaprizov, one behind Marian Gaborik for third all-time in Wild history. As Philadelphia sent packing early stages of their power play. In the opening frame, they were 0 for 2. Wild have been shorthanded more than 3 times in a game, just 4 times all season, one of which came Thursday against the Oilers. Already 3 times for the Flyers power play here in this hockey game. As Faber tries to win a battle, knocked one free. It's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. It's Foligno with Husadinov. Foligno charging in, right circle, has a lane, took a shot, Harrison made the save. And the Flyers counter. Bogosian was on the ice there. Nearly too many men for Minnesota. Here's connecting to the slot. Michkov and a wrister off the left hand of Fleury. Flyers settle things down. Michkov to center point Drysdale. Now Bobby Brink. Brink outside the left circle. Penalty killers are Husadinov, Foligno, Faber, and Brodin. A side angle chance by Michkov. May have caught the left skate of Fleury or the outside of the post. Came into the slot. Oh, and missing it tight was connecting.
Oh, my goodness.
Brink faked the shot, gave it right to Konechny in an open cage, and he misfired. His second glorious scoring chance of the game, and the crowd still buzzing from that. 35 seconds to go in the Flyers power play. It's still 1-0 Minnesota. Somehow, really, Drysdale to the right side of drive. Kicked out by Fleury. Rebound stashed up into the slot. Bouncing puck down low, and the Wild able to hack it down the ice.
Hack is the absolute right word also, Joe. Minnesota is really having a hard time. I don't know how they had a couple of glorious opportunities, couldn't put it away.
10 seconds to go in the minor to Boldy. Drop pass for Morgan Frost starts the Flyers ahead. He'll stash it off left wing boards for Farabee. It came back to Frost, and his pass is turned over. Freddie Gaudreau wrists it down. And this puck left the playing surface. The Flyers begging for a delay of game call. The officials saying it hit something.
They're going to discuss it right now.
But the thing that's interesting about this, Tom, is that Boldy came out of the box. That whistle didn't sound right away. I think everybody was looking for that puck. So when did it go out? Was the penalty over? And is there a penalty on Gaudreau? That's part of the discussion.
And we're going to see right now, it appears that there is no penalty on the play. Nope, no penalty on the play. The faceoff is going to be just outside Minnesota's defensive zone by the penalty box area.
I don't know if that puck jumped on Konechny at all, Tom, but I still can't believe, I don't think he can either, how he missed from that spot.
Yeah, he's had a couple of glorious chances in this game and has not been able to make it. Boldy's a little concerning to me right now, Joe. That was a hooking call. He's had two trips, 2 holding calls, and now hooking out. Everything is a stick infraction.
And that's in the last 7+ periods. 27 penalty minutes on the year coming into this hockey game. We're back to live action. It's full strength for each side. The Wild won, the Flyers nothing here with 10.5 minutes left in period 2. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. Kaprizov launched one out to center. And it glanced off a Flyers player. And then a touch-up, so a hand pass, 10:23 to go in the second.
Well, there's no better gift than the gift of Wild hockey. Join us on December the 23rd for a Central Division collision against the Chicago Blackhawks. Buy tickets now at wild.com/hockey tickets. Great gift for Christmas coming up. All the different apparel they have here as well. Tickets, great time to spend with your family.
Play resumes. Merrill rolls one around behind his own net. Bogosian comes out right side. His pass tipped. It did get out through neutral ice. Boldy tries to carve it back. Couldn't do so. Cates now stapled to the glass by Bogosian. Hartman hustles to it. Wheels it around to John Merrill, who just flicks it out to center. York knocked it down with his glove. Marcus Johansson at center ice for Minnesota. Stripped by Cam York, who makes a safe play, just working it deep into the Wild end. Philadelphia changes behind the play as Bogosian and Merrill back for Minnesota. And they're able to separate the Flyers from this puck, and here's Matt Boldy, sitting at 199 career points. Boldy at the blue line, and this play is offside.
Yeah, Johansson had no place to go. He and Hartman came together, and Johansson went over the blue line first, so the offside call is made.
Halfway home, 9:41 left in the second period. The Wild still leading the Flyers 1-0 in St. Paul. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and that means limited time savings on the paint pros need. Right now, save $15 on 5-gallon pails of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams All-Purpose Power Primer. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when you order by 2 p.m. Visit us in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 12/20. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Scoreboard update. 2 other games in progress. The last time we talked to you, the Blackhawks led the Devils 1-0. Well, the Devils have fired off 4 third-period goals. They lead the Blackhawks 4-1 with 2 minutes left to go in regulation. The Kings lead the Rangers 5-1. They've got 6:37 left to go in that one. Later on tonight, a couple of Central Division collisions. How about the Stars hosting the Blues? Could be the debut of new Blues defenseman Cam Fowler. Predators will skate in Colorado. They'll face off against the Avalanche. That's at 8 o'clock. Your local time. Now back up to Joe and Tom.
Yeah, Joe, you look at that trade also. Cam Fowler, 14 years with the Anaheim Ducks, and gets paid to the St. Louis Blues for a defenseman and a second-round draft choice. Do you know how to pronounce that defenseman's name?
I'll leave that to you.
Biakabutuka.
Is there a vowel in there?
A lot of vowels in there.
Can I buy a vowel?
I will know how to pronounce it by the end of the season.
Is that a promise?
In June.
Here is Faber back for the Wild, around to Brodin, hacked along looking for Lauko to try and clear out. Johansson there. It ricochets out the center. And if you're just joining us, the Wild getting Jonas Brodin and Matt Zuccarello back in the lineup. As Couturier through the Wild slot, turns to his forehand, spun one in front. Fleury had to paddle that away as it ricocheted up into the air. Johansson up ice at 4-on-3. If the Wild won it, Johansson left circle, a high-rising shot shouldered away by Ayerson. 25-year-old Ayerson, former 5th-round pick of Philadelphia, making that save as the Wild try to reset and come back over the blue line. Rossi battling to get away from the check of Sanheim. Rossi left circle, down low Boldy, a little scooping backhander from a tough angle. That fluttered over the crossbar. Johansson recovers it for the Wild. Right circle. Hand it back at the point. Rossi plays it to Chisholm. Flexed out left wing board. Zuccarello fresh off the bench. Cross-ice aerial feed. Rossi gloved it down to his stick blade. Spins with it and rolls it down behind the net for Johansson. Marcus Johansson coming out left side center for Rossi. Rossi faked the drive. Twists away from connecting. Plays it to Kaprizov, who just stepped off the Wild bench. Kirill Kaprizov lifts it around the boards, and Zuccarello just couldn't keep it in. Back over the blue line come the Wild. Declan Chisholm charges in. Fired one in front. Stick save by Eriksson. Paling to the loose puck, and he'll guide it out the center. It's grabbed by Rossi. He's hog-tied. Stepping to it for a moment was Chisholm. Paling now tries to punch it in. Chisholm did well to deal with him. Puck squeezes deeper in the Wild zone. Chisholm angled it off his end wall. Heavy hit there from Hathaway on Spurgeon. Hathaway dug it free and got it to Paling. Flyers fourth line here, winning a battle, working to the point for Drysdale. Drysdale skates to his right. Flipped it down low for Paling. Lakeville native Ryan Paling. Former Canadiens draft pick. Hog-tied in the corner by the Wild, and Kaprizov able to get to a loose puck, skate the Wild ahead. Dangling through the neutral zone, flipped it off the board. Sealer knocked it down, and the Flyers have it again with Drysdale. Minnesota changing on the fly is Nick Sealer now. Outlets, Lawton bats it in from center. Michkov dealt with by Spurgeon. Cutting to the loose puck, Freddie Gaudreau. Gaudreau, the only Wild goal Thursday. As a shot here by Ben Jones off the rush is trapped by Eriksson with 7:08 to go in the second.
And Jones right in the middle of that also, now having a little conversation with the Flyer. Big bodies out there right now. The faceoff is going to stay deep in the Flyer zone. Shots right now, even at 13 apiece. Not a lot of shooting at this game at all. Minnesota, I think Minnesota's a little bit tired. You just feel that they've traveled, they've had so far. Even coming back from that game in Utah. I mean, I didn't go on my light once I got home till 5 o'clock in the morning. And these guys have to work their tails off, and it's difficult. I mean, the rest is so important in the players today.
Foligno chops one ahead. Ben Jones centers. Gaudreau fanned on his one-timer. Late arrival Wednesday morning back from Utah. Game against the Oilers as Merrill a long shot. Eriksson makes a save, losing Middleton the first shift of that game. The Wild just an uphill battle against an Oilers team playing really well. They get beat 7-1, and you're right, Tom. This has the feel the Wild are trying to keep it as low scoring as possible. They're trying to grind this one out.
Well, they're doing a good job of that, no question about it. Well, prepare to embrace the dark side with the Minnesota Wild on December the 18th at Star Wars Night, and your journey includes a game ticket to witness the Wild battle of the Panthers, plus an exclusive Darth Faber item. The power is yours. Claim it now at wild.com/pack.
Offensive zone draw for Minnesota. By the way, the Flyers a 7-game road point streak entering this one. 5-0-2 in that span, 6-1-2 in their last 9 away from Philadelphia. Icing here on Minnesota as the puck had come out the center. Bogosian lifted it back in. 6:38 to go in the second.
Yeah, lots of whistles in this hockey game, no question about that. You look at these two teams, I mean, those face-offs are so important, and you look at the Flyers, they have won 53% of the draws.
Gaudreau and Frost on this tie-up to the right of Fleury. Fleury's played the Flyers a ton in his career. Of course, all that time spent with the Penguins. 32 victories against Philadelphia in Fleury's career. Gaudreau up ice. Ben Jones tips in. York staring him down. The Wild on the forecheck, able to try to muscle it in front for a moment. Loose puck came free. Foligno, a shot. Eriksson made the save. Boy, Eriksson quick to push out and deny Foligno. And now some rough stuff here after the whistle involving Jones
here comes
from Minnesota. Sanheim in there, and you're right, Tom. Foligno quick to aid Ben Jones.
He was in the corner.
Oh, boy, now Foligno's dropped his one glove, trying to rip the linesman away from Sanheim, because Sanheim came up high on Foligno. Foligno's got Sanheim's jersey wrapped over his face, still trying to throw some lefts. The linesman begging him to calm down.
And officials just looking on right now. I'm not seeing any indication of penalties at this stage of the game. A little bit of rough stuff going on.
They got about half dozen hockey sticks, gloves, and helmets on the ice. Bit of a play it against sports out there. The net's way off its pegs. The crowd loving the extracurricular activities. Foligno to the box for Minnesota for sure. And we'll see if the linesmen take anybody in Philadelphia. You would think there would be at least one minor, even if Foligno got two from that scrum, that Philly would have somebody going to their penalty box. And yes, Sanheim now makes the slow jaunt that way.
You know, these penalties coming with 6:16 remaining in period number 2. Minnesota leads 1-0.
Philadelphia 6, Minnesota 17, both 2 roughing.
Yeah, I can go with that. It was interesting because everything was taking place around there. Foligno was in the corner, and all of a sudden he spotted something, he came flying back over just to have his presence felt, which it was.
Sometimes, Tom, he moves his fastest when there's a scrum, wouldn't you say? When his teammates are needing some help.
Yeah, I would agree with that, 100% with that. But Sanheim will go to the box. Travis Sanheim and Foligno both on the roughing calls.
Real quick, while we have a moment, wanted to give a shout out to Bruce Scoop Cooper, longtime Flyers statistician, a mentor of mine from about 20 years ago, who is tuned in today. Wanted to say hello to Scoop. Off the draw, the Wild have it favored. To Brodin, spun it into the corner for Marco Rossi to emerge with. Another 4-on-4 sequence here, our second of the hockey game. Kaprizov right wing corner. Shakes and bakes, tries to get away from Ristolainen. Got it to the left side, Brodin. Give him back to Kaprizov, who spins at the right circle. Cuts back near the blue line again, trying to get away from Ristolainen. He does. Kaprizov now darting left circle, all the way down by the goal line. He tried to center. Ristolainen jumped into that lane and cut it off.
Yeah, he had Brodin back in that point position, ready to take that pass. Never got to him, unfortunately.
Oh, and Tippett now for the Flyers. Dealt with by Brodin, who got sandwiched between Ristolainen and Tippett. Cam York now pinching in for Philadelphia. Had it stabbed loose. Konechny holds the line. 4-on-4 hockey here for another $1.15. Wild 1, Flyers nothing. Late stages, period 2 from XL Energy Center. Michkov and Brodin meet each other in the corner. Matvei Michkov trying to knock it loose. He had a goal and assist when these two teams played back in late October. Kaprizov and Brodin in there for Philadelphia. Konechny surveys as well. So does the Wild's Marco Rossi. Konechny dug that puck free. Got it to Zamula for a shot blocked by Faber. Brock Faber had 150 blocks in his first full season in the NHL last year. 9th most ever by an NHL rookie. League started keeping the block shot stat in 2005. Travis Konechny darts up ice for the Flyers. Got past the flat-footed Faber. Left circle a shot. Fleury stayed with it and fought off that short side wrister. It's hacked along. It's a break. Boldy's in alone on Ersson. Boldy waits some more, and he scores!
Very patient going with the puck there. There's a reason he scores goals. It's because he's got that long reach and he's got the ability to put that puck on net. But the confidence level is so high with him in that, where he's got to back off his out of the penalties, obviously. But he comes in, makes a little fake, and you look at the goaltending was good in that situation. He tried to make the save. He threw the pad out there, but it just eluded the pad, that left pad of his, and Boldy taking a look. And just, boy, it goes underneath the pad. It just wasn't flat enough on the ice. It was extending downward, but never got all the way down.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. Ersson did get his right skate up against the post to his right, but Boldy just kind of muscled it underneath.
Minnesota!
Big goal for the Wild late in the second.
13th goal of the season. 200th NHL point for number 12, Matt Boldy.
Here's Boldy now at the left circle shooting one. It's blocked to the corner.
Brock Faber. Time of the goal, 15:21.
Wild keep it in. They work one of the hash marks for Johansson. Penalties to Sanheim and Foligno are over. Flyers scaled along. Chisholm back to gather for Minnesota. Chisholm, a stretch pass for Johansson. That's a touch too far, but Ersson comes out of his net, so they wave off icing. Ersson swept it around the boards. Hartman was there first. It's tapped away now from Boldy, and Scott Lawton will pick it up. Lawton rumbles along, chips one in. Lawton out of Oakville, Ontario, pressuring the Wild. John Merrill, a couple of bodies from each team in there. Fleury looks to his right, then takes a look back in the slot, see what trouble might be out there as the Wild emerge. Boldy to Johansson, a tap pass right side. Bogosian filters it in. Hartman trying to dig it free. It bounced away. Zuccarello had it slash past him as the Wild finish a change. Merrill goes D to D, and Zach Bogosian will pick it up, lobbing it back to Merrill. Merrill, a couple of shots, couple of blocks Thursday. He played just under 20 minutes. The 10th highest time on ice for John Merrill since joining the Wild. Philadelphia gets one through the neutral zone. York couldn't come up cleanly with it. Faber now on a regroup. Pounds it off the boards. Kaprizov tried to tip it free. Stays with it. Third try now for Kaprizov at center. Navigates with this puck and sends it to the left wing boards. Brodin sped it back on a drop pass. It's Marco Rossi. Rossi cross ice. Zuccarello fanned on a one-timer. He was open at the right wing faceoff circle. Brodin rescues it. Got it to the point. Faber pressured immediately by Frost. He was able to take it away and guide it out to center ice for Philadelphia. Under 3 minutes to go in the second. Rossi bumped on a chip and chase. Flyers send it off the glass back the other way, and they wave off icing, and Brodin will come back and grab it. Skate around his own net, settle down a rolling puck, and pluck it along for Jones. Jones left circle, deep in the Flyers' end, curled up, then lifted it around the end boards. Zuccarello at the end of his shift, taken off the puck by Sealer, and the Flyers send it back the other way. Shots are 16-12 in favor of Minnesota. As a heavy hit, Chisholm almost ended up in the Flyers bench there as he was crunched by Hathaway. Hathaway's got Chisholm lined up again. This time Chisholm spins back, angled to the Spurgeon, flicked along for Husnadinov at center ice. He couldn't do much with it. Lawton was looking for Hathaway, nothing there. Jones hustles to it for Minnesota and punched it ahead. Under 2 minutes left in the second period. Wild in front 2-0 here at home. Scott Lawton dances past some trouble, banks it in, and he got dumped after he did so. Jared Spurgeon now for Minnesota, up off the right wing boards, where Husnadinov will pressure Ristolainen, the Flyers defenseman, former Sabres draft pick, just works it off the boards. Farabee tipped it to center, Brodin to crunch it back in as the Wild finish a change. 90 seconds to go in the second. What's important for the Wild here down the stretch in period 2, Tom?
I think just being a hold their own right now as they wind down with a minute and 20 seconds to go, but just making sure they don't give opportunities to the opposition.
Brodin onto the tape of Faber. Left wing pass over the blue line comes Goudreau. Will knock it deep in the Flyers' end. Faber pressured for a moment. Goudreau kept in a clearing attempt. But Travis Konechny now for Philadelphia Flyers will get it to Farabee, who scoops it in past Fleury's cage. Fleury looks to his left. Flyers dig it free on the forecheck. Final minute of the second. Farabee wrapped up by Foligno, and that forces the issue out the center. Cam York is back. York for Konechny, who's nearing 600 career games, all with the Flyers. Sanheim over the blue line. Drop pass for Farabee. Left circle, now down near the Wild goal line. He'll swing it all the way up to the right point. Skating with it, Drysdale. Laid along for Farabee. 30 seconds left in the period. It comes back to Drysdale, just inside the blue line left wing boards. He'll churn it around the Wild end wall. Cates is pinned up by Brodin. It's dug loose, though. And it's Brink to the point, Drysdale. He'll find Zamula. Zamula walking in left circle. Faked the shot, then wristed one. Knocked out in front. Cates a wraparound try. And Johansson was there to deny him. Fleury lost his stick for a moment. He'll get it back as the Wild carry ahead. Foligno hits the red line, floats it in. And with 5 to go in the period, the Flyers are going to have to hustle. A long pass for Cates. He'll charge in. And as he spins it around the Wild end boards, that takes us to the end of period 2.
Yeah, both teams playing very hard right now. Some mistakes out there, obviously, but they're both working at a rate at this point. And you look at Minnesota with the lead right now, 2-0. Shots from Minnesota have a total of 16 on their side. If that holds true, that means they had 7 in the second period. And the Philadelphia Flyers now at 13. That means they had just 4. But Minnesota has the lead going into the locker room 3-0 or 2-0.
Kaprizov with a first period goal in the back half of the frame. Boldy with a second period goal, also tail end of the stands. It's 2-0 Minnesota after 40. The great Lou Nanne joins Tom Reed when we come back. You don't want to miss that conversation. It's 2-0 Minnesota. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this college football season.
A rivalry that dates all the way back to 1930 is renewed on Saturday. It's Army versus Navy. The midshipmen lead the all-time series, but it's the Black Knights who have won the last 2 and find themselves as 4.5-point favorites this weekend. Make sure you tune in to Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders, the revenues, and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on SiriusXM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes, Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. We make that next step. How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Community.
Welcome back to St. Paul. This XL Energy Center. After two period of play, the Wild lead this by a score of 2-0 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Right now, I'm with the, as Kevin said or Joe said, the great Blue Nanny. I think it was great because you're dressed in a great, big, nice purple sweater. So I think it must be the great Blue Nanny.
I did have some grapes for lunch too.
I do not. Oh, you've had everything for lunch. I've worn many of it. Believe me, and I do mean worn. Louis, one of the things coming up here is the World Junior Championships. And it's unbelievable when you go back and you look at the records and how many kids who are on the National Hockey League today play in that tournament. And here, coming to St. Paul, at the XL Energy Center and also at Mariucci Arena, coming in 2026.
Yeah, it starts December 26th of 2025 and goes into 26. So we're going to have it just about a year from now. And as you said, every great player in this league is basically played in the World Junior Championship, and all the real good players are the ones that make the team. It's tough to make the team of your country, and if you look back, and as you were talking about how it's grown, if you look back at what's really evolved in this World Junior Championship, it's become the second biggest international tournament there is next to the Olympics when you're talking about hockey tournaments. The viewership, for instance, in Canada will be higher for that tournament than it would be for the Stanley Cup playoffs if a Canadian team doesn't make the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the coverage is not just nationally here in the U.S. It's like having a 2-week commercial for the state of Minnesota because you got TSN in Canada, plus the other channels, and you got Switzerland, Finland, Germany, Sweden, all those countries are covering the tournament. So it's a big, big thing for the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, there's 8 teams coming into it, right? 8 teams, I believe it is, and under the age of 20 to participate in the tournament.
Yeah, and, occasionally you'll have a great player that makes it, but like Mario Lemieux played at a younger age, and Bedard played. Some of these guys will play at 16 or 17, but it's really a tough team to make. And I know that the University of Minnesota is going to have some candidates for the U.S. team. Matthew Wood's coming back. I don't think he made the Canadian team. And because the Canadians, for one reason or not, they just don't use many college players up there in this tournament. It's like a national thing to them. The junior leagues are so big there. But when you look at the players that play, and Kaprizov, I watched him play in the tournament. That's the first time I saw him play, and he was tremendous in that tournament. He led the tournament in goal scoring, and he was on a strong Russian team, but not as strong as some of the other teams in the past. But boy, he dominated, and you could tell at that time that the Wild had a good draft pick.
Yeah, and I think you've had the honor of playing for your country. It's international competition. What does it mean to the individual who's like you playing for? What's it mean to the players?
I have to say that it is such a unique experience. I've had the good fortune of playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I also had the good fortune of playing with the Olympic team and a number of U.S. national teams in the Canada Cup. It is such a different experience for you to play in that kind of tournament versus the playoffs, because all of a sudden you're not just representing your team and your teammates in that room, you're representing a country. And the feeling in that locker room is something that it's really hard to describe, because you've never had this kind of feeling. And how do you tell people about what you feel like when you're there standing up for your country, and if you win, they play the national anthem and stuff like that. It's the most unique thing I've ever been associated with. It's the biggest thrill I've ever had playing in hockey. And I know these kids, when they win a junior championship, when they compete, it's out of this world. But when they get a chance to win, and the U.S. has since 2012 now, we essentially been one of the top 4 teams and always a threat to win. And the guys that have had the good fortune of winning, it's a feeling that they can't describe. It's something that they treasure the rest of their life.
Yeah, and these are marquee players from each of the countries that are playing in this. And you know what? They're really under a microscope when they're playing. Any little mistake is just magnified so big around their country.
Yeah, you can just feel the pain if they make a mistake and cause a goal, or if they end up losing a game. You can tell how they feel. A dejection, a feeling. It's tough to get back up, because you want to win so badly. There's so much passion in that room. There's so much passion you yourself have. And just think of something as a little kid, something you wanted more than anything in the world. That's what it's like when you are playing for your country and want to win a medal. It's like you can't describe how badly you want something, and that's what these players feel, and that's what it's like for them to have the occasion to compete.
Yeah, you look at the names. I mean, you look at Kirill, you mentioned Matt Boldy's been there, Austin Matthews has been there, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, all the great stars, and these tickets are going to go on sale the day after Christmas on December 26th at 10 a.m. Central Time.
It's going to be great for the fans here. I'm so happy for the state of Minnesota we got it, because we had a tough time getting it. I want to tell you, this was no slam dunk. We've had it, as you said, in 82. But they really were, Seattle was a big thorn in our side to get this, because they said, we want to have more exposure around the country to the game of that. So you kidding? You got more players here in the state of Minnesota than anywhere else, and we still want to grow the game even further. Don't you think we finally deserves this thing? And it's something that everybody, in hockey that has a team would like to have in their building. And we had to come through some tough competition. Dallas, Seattle, I can go on and on. The ones that were getting down to the finals with us. But this is something that I think we're going to do a fantastic job of supporting it. And I'm really looking forward to watching the games myself.
Well, this year they're in Ottawa, am I correct on that?
Right.
Next year, in 2026, it'll be here. But you can get the early access by signing up for the pre-sale list at World Juniors MN 26DOT.com. And you can start at 10 a.m. on December the 18th to get early access. So
packages. They will sell packages for the whole tournament.
Yeah, and you know what? And anybody who's connected with hockey watches it. You get excited for it. And at the end, of course, you get players who their countries are being represented, whether the Swedes or the Finns or the Canadians or the Americans. I mean, whatever it is. It's a lot of banter in the locker rooms also.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine when the Wild players are, just practicing and they know that day that their country's playing against one of their teammates' countries? it makes for a lot of fun there. And it is like a 24-hour day commercial for the U.S. on NHL Network. They cover it all day long. And as I said, in Canada too, we'll have people coming from all over the world for this. This is the one trip they like to take in the year, the big hockey fans, and we're going to be very fortunate to be hosting it here because people are going to learn and know a lot more about Minnesota by actually being here and seeing what it means to the state of hockey to have a tournament like this.
Definitely, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Louis.
Nice to be with you.
Louis, thanks for being. Lou Nanne, our guest here. Kevin, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Louis, for joining us in the intermission. Guess what? We're not sending you down to your place, Tavern 23. We're sending you to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. You think you got good food there in Edina? Wait till you try the fare down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. The Wild lead the Flyers 2-0 after 40 minutes of play. Full recap is coming your way next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Leave the noise and the chaos of the holidays behind and escape to a channel filled with cozy piano, string and horn versions of your holiday favorites. Set the mood for a stress-free season with Sirius XM Holiday Instrumentals. Now through Christmas Day on the Sirius XM app, along with dozens of other holiday channels and specials.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
The
NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Bray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Wild and Flyers, what a matinee in St. Paul. Kirill Kaprizov buries his 19th of the year from Merrill and Bogosian. 14-18 of the first. Then we go to the second. Matt Boldy gets it on a breakaway.
It's a break. Boldy's in alone on Anderson. Boldy waits some more, and he scores! Matt Boldy on a clear-cut break. Danced around Anderson, lifted it home, and the Wild have a 2-0 lead.
13th of the year for Boldy. Faber gets the helper. 15-21 of the second. Wild extend their lead to 2-0. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The world's greatest coverage.
Taves, 3-on-1. Taves, Lee, scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Marc-Andre Fleury perfect through 40 minutes. 4 saves in the second. 2-period total of 13. Thus far the Wild 0 for 1 on the power play. The Flyers are 0 for 3. The third is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What? With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save. So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done? Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account. That's a flex. This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Happy holidays from the Jenny O Turkey team. At Jenny O Turkey, they believe the holidays are a time for gratitude and giving back. They've donated over 2,000 turkeys in partnership with the Minnesota Wild the week before Thanksgiving and gave over 20,000 turkeys to those in need this holiday season. It's their goal to ensure as many tables as possible are adorned with a delicious Jenny O turkey. We hope this helps to inspire you to embrace the spirit of giving this holiday season. Jenny O Turkey, making it easy to eat well.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Back for the third period in St. Paul. The Wild lead the Flyers 2-0. We start the third period 5-on-5. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Again, Zuccarello and Brodin back for Minnesota. No Travis Dermott yet, just claimed off waivers yesterday from Edmonton. Yakov Trenin out for Philadelphia. Jake Middleton, of course, now begins his stretch on the shelf after getting hurt Thursday. But so far, Tom, the Wild have limited Philadelphia to just 13 shots. They've got a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and hopefully they hang on to it. The early part of the third period is going to be very important for both these teams. Minnesota wants to keep the puck out of that and see if they can get something. And, of course, the Flyers have to get something going here to have any chance at all to win this hockey game.
Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the third. Flyers from left to right. The Wild have given up 7 third-period goals over their last 3 games, so that's a touch concerning. Minnesota's still the only team in the NHL without back-to-back regulation losses. Sanheim near the offensive blue line couldn't keep a puck alive. Boldy now scored late in the second, flies it in. Both teams change. Kaprizov, even strength from Merrill and Bogosian. Faber set up Boldy's tally. The breakaway goal against Samuel Ersson. Behind the Wild net, a logjam. Emerging Noah Cates. Cates from the goal line. Sped one on the point, wrist a line and a shot. Off the left pad of Fleury. Grabbed by Cates. A wraparound try, and Fleury held it out. Stretched out with his right pad. Pushed from his left to his right to do so. Boy, Cates had a couple of wraparound tries here in this hockey game.
We're just watching some of these guys out here right now, and I'll tell you, some of these guys taking pretty good hits. No question about it.
Bobby Brink for the Flyers. Up to Cam York. Philadelphia making an early push here in the third. York tried to dance in front. Poke check of Fleury denied him. Flyers are back on it. It is Bobby Brink banking one along Forrester. Back to Brink. High slot. York, a shot blocked. And it ricochets out the center.
Well, Minnesota's done a good job of getting their bodies in front of a lot of these shots coming in.
Through 2 periods, the Wild had blocked 9 shots, led by Brock Faber with 3. Sanheim lugs it along for Philadelphia. Banked one off the boards. Owen Tippett. With 2 helpers in the earlier meeting of the season series, he'll cruise it in. The Wild break it out. Foligno charging ahead. Met at center ice by the poke check at Tippett. And that draws this play offside.
Where you look at these two teams also, Minnesota, when they're leading after 2 periods of play, their record's 13-0-0. The Flyers, when they're trailing after 2 periods, they have come back and they've won 4 of them. They've gone 4-10 in 1 in that stretch. So they do not sit back, and they haven't sat back here in the first 2 minutes and 3 seconds of this third period.
Mentioned the Wild giving up goals in spades in the third the last 3 games, 7 of them. Minnesota is top 10 in the league in third period goals scored. As Tippett, right side, fires one in front. That goes wide. Sealer keeps in left point. Jams it down low. It is grabbed by Merrill. Skates out to his left and just gets it through center. Boudreau tipped that up high illegally with a high stick. Drysdale negates it by touching up next for Philadelphia. They'll loosen it up into the left wing corner for Sealer. Bumped by Foligno, his former teammate. And now it's danced along by Owen Tippett, who curls back with his line exchange. Tippett squeezing it free now. Drysdale with his head up. Snaps a pass. It's touched by Ristolainen, then filtered in the Wild zone. Immediately chucked the other way by Brodin. And it will just eventually rattle out the center ice. Husnudinov, shy of the red line left wing board, try to carve it free. Kaprizov, Johnson, and Husnudinov in this sequence for Minnesota. And an icing call here on the Flyers halts play. We've seen that a lot under John Hines' tenure, maybe more so than Dean Evison, getting Kaprizov out there literally as much as possible.
Yeah, well, that's what you do. When you got a goal score like that, you get him on the ice as much as you possibly can. And Kaprizov, I think he appreciates the extra ice time out there, obviously.
On this case, it looks like he was out there because Jakub Lauko will not return to this hockey game. Stick tap Kevin Fallness on that scoop. And another body lost for the Wild, at least here for the rest of this game. My goodness. Lauko had just returned.
When it rains, it pours.
Thursday against Edmonton, his first game since November the 25th. That's the same game where Brodin last played prior to tonight. Kaprizov in the neutral zone, finds Chisholm, slapped along Zuccarello. He'll rifle it in. Zuccarello back on the ice for the first time since November the 14th. The back-to-back tomorrow for Minnesota. We'll see if some of these guys are able to give it a go again. Those just back off the IR. Here's Rossi centering for a shot. And Konechny kept Kaprizov away from his second of the game. He'll deflect it out of play.
Boy, Kaprizov is looking up at the sky right now thinking, what just happened here? I should have got that one, but they did not. Well, join us on December the 20th as we celebrate Jared Spurgeon. This exclusive ticket pack includes the Captain Spurgeon locker room t-shirt and your game ticket to watch the Wild take on the Utah Hockey Club. Get yours today at wild.com/pack. And why are we celebrating Jared Spurgeon Day? Because he has played the most minutes of anyone who has ever worn the Minnesota Wild uniform.
As Mikko Koivu in Utah on Tuesday did Spurgeon for most time on ice in Wild history. Konechny now at the offensive blue line, tries to paddle it in. It's swept back the other way by Brodin. Before today, the Wild played 8 straight games without Brodin in the lineup and 13 games without Zuccarello in the lineup. And yet, in those 13 games, they had an impressive record, 9-4-1, if you include the game where Zuccarello was hurt just 3 minutes in.
Going back to Spurgeon for a second, the captain now has played on the ice for Minnesota 19,726 minutes and 58 seconds.
Is that up to the second? Did you add in tonight, Tom?
I didn't add in tonight yet.
But too many fingers and toes.
Well, and Kevin's working on it right now.
Oh, yeah. Then we'll get that in June as well. Boldy, right wing, or just as soon as you figure out how to pronounce the name of the guy acquired in that Fowler trade. Which will come first? Boldy, left wing hash mark, cycled it down low, taken away by Couturier, who's been kind of quiet tonight. In my estimation, Couturier haunted the Wild a lot, 11 points his last 6 games against Minnesota.
Now that you said that, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Oh, boy. Boldy winds it in. Drysdale dug it free. Konechny plays it to Morgan Frost. Frost hits the red line. Lofts it in over the head of Fleury. Back is Merrill. Right wing breakout pass for Reese Johnson. Johnson fought it for a moment, tried to lug it through center. Tippett picked his pocket on the backside pressure, and now it's Drysdale. The flop it in for the right wing boards as he hit the blue line. Bogosian snapped it up ice. It was stolen. Tip pass by Michkov, and Tippett couldn't get through the Wild slot cleanly. It's jabbed back out the center. Nick Seeler fires it back in from center ice, and this puck leaves the playing surface with 14:39 to go.
Well, right now, Minnesota's just trying to hold that lead, maintain that lead. Most of this third period has been played in Minnesota's defensive zone, and that's fine, provided you keep the puck on the outside. Fleury's been called upon a couple times to make saves. Right now, the shots are 17-15 in favor of the home team, who also lead by 2-0.
Tom, the Wild are 9-1-0 against the Eastern Conference. Can you figure out why?
No, I can't.
Yeah, me neither.
I was looking at it this morning. I thought, why is that? But they're just having great luck against the East at this point.
Kustadinov to Foligno. Wild were pretty good against the East really the last couple of years. It was the Central Division top teams that gave them all kinds of trouble last year, as we've talked about a lot in the early portion of this season. On the flip side, Philadelphia 5-2-0 against the Central Division, including a win against Minnesota, and 7-5-2 against the Western Conference overall. Flyers knocking along. Both teams change as Spurgeon sits in his own right circle, slaps a pass up ice. Johansson, wrapped up by Zamula. 24-year-old Igor Zamula signed as a free agent 2018, continues to work over the Wild's Marcus Johansson. Puck squeezed free. Cates tries to push the pace, and now Forrester lobs it in. Back is Bogosian, a backhand off the left wing boards. Jones trickles it ahead and gets it out to center ice. Konechny back. That's Brink. Spinning off a check. Bobby Brink hits the red line. Flies it in. A little sky behind the net of Fleury. Bogosian grabs it. Bumped by Brink. He loosened it up to Bogosian for Freddie Gaudreau. Tapped it off the right wing boards. Johansson angled it along. That puck got up on its edge there, and it's icing on Minnesota.
Yeah, this game has certainly got a couple of the senior referees also. Wes McCauley and Dan O'Rourke are the two guys wearing the orange armbands out there. Andrew Smith and Jesse Marquis also the ones handling the lines. Right now, the icing call that will go against Minnesota. The faceoff will be to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury, who's got those big yellow pads on. You certainly can see them.
High stick infraction here as the Wild had lifted this puck ahead, and that'll bring about a face-off when we come back from this timeout. 13:10 to go in the third period. The Wild lead the Flyers 2-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The fantasy football playoffs are here, and you need fantasy sports radio now more than ever. After a grinding season of injuries, waiver moves, and start-sit decisions, the finish line is in sight.
We've seen some ridiculous running backs have a featured role in the fantasy playoffs that win championships.
But making the wrong move could mean the difference between glory or defeat.
Every week, Mike Evans is either scoring or putting up some numbers.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Don't lose because you weren't listening. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
The
NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Fort Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Sirs.
13:10 to go here in the third period. It's 2-0 Minnesota. Well, shop the Hockey Lodge, a fanatic experience this holiday season, and give the gift of Wild Cheer. The Hockey Lodge is the perfect gift for every Wild fan in your life. Visit in-store or head to hockeylodge.com. Face off deep in the Minnesota zone, and some great buys in the Hockey Lodge also. Got some of the new stuff that has come in this year.
Loose puck inside the Wild blue line, right wing side. Faber had it tapped away. Boldy recovers it. Got it to Brodin. His up-ice pass didn't connect with Ryan Hartman. So Philadelphia regroups at center. They'll try to punch it in. Hartman spins it back the other way. Cam York slides it to the left wing boards. Farabee drops it off. Travis Konechny dealt with by Hartman. Farabee back on it. Now Konechny from low to high. York at the left point fired a shot. Swatted away in front by Brodin after a tip on the way through. And Johansson carves it back the other way for Minnesota.
Yeah, good play by Johansson. He got it nice and high in the air, and then he goes to the penalty. He goes to the player's box.
By the way, Boldy with those 200 NHL points, second fastest in Wild history to reach that milestone. I'm guessing you can guess who was first on that list. That Kaprizov fella is tipping a shot tipped by Chisholm out of play.
Yeah, Kaprizov has been so good for Minnesota. I'm sure he's pretty happy that Zucchi's back now in the lineup with him. Also, they'll start to carve out their niche as they did before the injury.
And Boldy, the third Wild player to hit 200 points before turning 24. Kaprizov not on this list because he didn't come over from Russia immediately, of course. Pierre-Marc Bouchard and Marian Gaborik, the only other Wild players under 24 years of age to reach 200 points in a Minnesota sweater. A couple of really good players there. Everything Gaborik could do, electric offensively, and Pierre-Marc Bouchard, one of the best setup men in Wild history. Fair to say, Tom?
I would have to agree with you. Absolutely. The thing is, the communication they have without even saying anything is amazing on the ice.
Here is Scott Lawton. Checked out of his Cates. My apologies, little backhander. No trouble there for Fleury. He'll hang on. We're down to 11:45 left in the third with the Wild in front 2-0.
And there's never a reason to miss Wild hockey. In the Twin Cities, you can find us every night on your radio on the flagship KFAN. Online, you can log on to kfan.com/listen. And when you're traveling to Mankato, the North Pole, or anywhere in between, find a station near you at wild.com/radio. And anytime you're coming to the game, bring your radio along and listen in the arena without delay at 95.7 FM. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you, Kevin, for that.
He was laughing before you even finished the sentence because he knew it was in the script.
Well, he put it there.
I know. Sanheim, a point shot right off the draw. Came off the end walls. It lasered past the stick side of Fleury. Flyers keep in. But Sanheim to Drysdale. An errant toss. Philadelphia has to regather at center. Paling scales it back in. John Merrill deep in his own zone. Floats it off the glass. Got it out to the neutral zone. Drysdale with a pass tipped by Foligno. He'll grab it, carry through the slot. Dance past the check. A little backhander then. Stopped by Erson. Ben Jones for the rebound for Minnesota. Jones lifts it into the left wing corner. Foligno protects. Swerves it back around the Philadelphia end boards where Sanheim with a breakaway pass that actually got through to Scott Lawton, but he couldn't handle it. Tough feed to gather, in all honesty, and the Wild now clear out the center. Both teams trying to get some fresh players out as Ristolainen carries in. Rasmus Ristolainen, Finnish-born blue liner, works it to the left point. Frost back there covering. Knocked it down low. Out from the corner came Brink. His feed deflected. Ristolainen grabs it. They'll chip it free for Morgan Frost. 10:40 left in the third. Frost back door. And it jumped over the tape of York. Boy, the Flyers have had a lot of good-looking scoring chances, some that just haven't materialized. Up-ice pass for Zuccarello. Numbers coming late. He'll slide it to Rossi, who scores!
Well, how nice was that play? Zucker's back.
Matt Zuccarello dropped it off. Marco Rossi with that quick release. Beat Erson glove side in the Wild. Some much-needed insurance. It's 3-0 Minnesota.
Yeah, good play all the way around also, Joe. You can see Minnesota having the puck out there, and you watch Zuccarello. He's looking for the late guy coming in there. And once again, that's Marco Rossi. Just beats it on the glove side. And with that, Minnesota has a 3-0 lead. This goal coming at 9 minutes, 34 seconds of period number 3.
For Rossi, that's his 11th of the year. Remember, he hit the 20-goal plateau last season. But, Tom, when you watch the replay, Chisholm fired it up ice. We talk about Zuccarello uses that extra long stick.
Yep.
Well, it's a good thing he does because he was just able to grab that pass.
Number 23, Marco Rossi. Assisted by number 36, Matt Zuccarello. And number 47, Declan Chisholm. Time of the goal, 9:34.
Around the net of Philadelphia goes Marcus Johansson. He's checked off the puck. Boldy tries to hold in. He can't. And the Flyers come along. Farabee hands it back. Konechny to the high slot. Backdoor pass looking for Farabee from Sanheim. It just deflected wide. And this puck now sent out to the neutral zone. Halfway home in the third. Wild have opened up a 3-0 lead. Flyers coming in and scored 3 goals or more in 9 of their last 10. Points in 8 of those 10. That's 6-2-2. Behind his own net sits Jonas Brodin. Third on the team in time on ice prior to injury. And so carry along to Reese Johnson, who dumps it in from center. Out from his own zone comes Igor Zamula. And now Cates crossing the red line, churning it in. Merrill stopped it along the left wing boards, took a hit, but did free it up. Husnudinov scoops in on his backhand. Trying to go after Ristolainen. Husnudinov won that battle, fired in front of pinball around. And the Flyers take it free, but Tippett gave it away. Left point, Reese Johnson scales it in. Flyers move it rink wide. Bogosian gobbles it up at center and tosses it deep again.
Yeah, Minnesota just play smart right now. They don't need more goals. They want to protect their own netminder at this point, keep the puck in the offensive zone.
Ristolainen to Ryan Poehling. Poehling attacks. Poehling around the Minnesota cage. A pass to the point, a hurried shot by Drysdale, blistered wide. Lawton to it. Tried to cycle it to Hathaway. Chisholm defended him well, and Freddie Gaudreau pokes it free where Boldy angles it out to center. And you want to be a hard team to play against. It's these moments where you've got the lead in the third period, just have to sort of suffocate your opponent. Spurgeon deep in his own zone to Chisholm. Wild trying not to give the Flyers any life here. Jones swings ahead, and Boldy out of midair baseball bats the puck through center. After this, the Flyers play in Detroit on the 18th. Then they come home to play the Kings the next day. The Wild back at it tomorrow. It'll be game 3 of a 5-game homestand against the Vegas Golden Knights. Then Florida and Utah to wrap up the homestand. Kaprizov into the offensive zone, left wing corner. Forced off the puck. Tyson Forrester carries along. Poked at the Frost. A return pass slowed down by Zuccarello. Good defensive play there by Matt Zuccarello. And the Wild take it. They go D to D. Brodin left circle. Carries ahead. Left it back. Kaprizov darting through neutral ice. Weaves past the check. Flipped it to Rossi. Rink wide Zuccarello. Right circle. Hacked it in front. Just a touch too far for Kaprizov. Left point Brodin a long drive. And Ersson pulls it underneath him to halt play with 7:16 to go. Timeout on the ice. 3-0. The Wild lead the Flyers here at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Wild fans, score up to $2,600 in tax credits when you upgrade your home comfort system by purchasing a qualifying Bryant Evolution heating and cooling system. And with a 10-year replacement warranty from Bryant, you'll have peace of mind for a decade. Contact your local Bryant dealer and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Visit Bryant.com for more details. Bryant, whatever it takes, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Meet MVP Logistics, proudly rooted in Minnesota. They're like the perfect pass, precise and reliable, delivering excellence from their home rink to yours. MVP Logistics is your go-to team for logistics and supply chain solutions. With over 150 years of industry leadership, their expert team delivers customer-centric strategies with a commitment to winning. Don't play shorthanded. Leverage MVP Logistics to be your most valuable partner in supply chain. Visit MVPLogistics.com for supply chain solutions made simple.
Scoreboard update.
We got a couple of finals. The Kings beat the Rangers in New York. 5-1 is the final there. The Devils take care of business. They beat the Blackhawks 4-1. Coming up here, it just dropped the puck on it, as a matter of fact. Golden Knights and Oilers are scoreless. 13:30 left to go in the first. Golden Knights looking for a 5th consecutive victory. They've also won 8 of their last 10. They're here in St. Paul tomorrow. Pregame at 4:45 on most of these same stations. Puck drops just after 5 o'clock. That's it. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, we've got 7:16 to go here in the third. Minnesota with a 3-0 lead. Shots 20-16. Not a lot of shots in this game. And I say this watching these two teams play, and I think a little bit of an edge has to go to Philadelphia times in this game. Minnesota's got the edge when it comes to scoring the goals, obviously, but Fleury's been good for Minnesota in this contest, too. He's got a couple of big ones, especially early on. Konechny had the open net. Found the open net of the catching glove was bigger than the open net behind him. So Fleury made a good save on that one.
And to your point, Tom, just the 36 combined shots, but a lot of them grade A chances for each team, and some grade A chances that won't go down as a scoring chance because the puck never was a shot on goal. Maybe a missed opportunity, a missed wide chance, a pass that just got away. As here in the slot is Drysdale, and it deflects off a body and finds the netting.
I'm watching the Flyers a little upset. They thought this could have been a hooking call called against Minnesota a few moments ago, but there was none to be had. It's been a very relatively quiet game. Not seeing a lot of hitting on either side.
Goudreau and Cates on the tie-up. Declan Chisholm off the one face-off. Rakes it out to Marcus Foligno. Floated along to Goudreau. Taps off the left wing boards. A touch too far for Jones. Sanheim absorbed his body contact and swung along by Marcus Foligno. Spurgeon pinched in right side. His pass was blocked by Kate. Came to the point. Goudreau covering back there with a quick shot. Stopped by Ersson. Dancing to the rebound, Foligno. Turned it up top. Chisholm a drive, and that's in the glove of Samuel Ersson.
Yeah, Ersson able to see that one coming all the way from that left point position. It's nice when you've got defensemen who can play the correct side, that being your right-handed shooting defenseman on the right side, and obviously left on the other side. Minnesota, their weakness has been a little bit on that left side this year.
Ersson got the win against the Flyers the win against the Wild on October the 26th, despite giving up 5 goals on 26 shots. He has 35 career NHL wins, so watch this draw to his right. That's controlled by the Flyers and carried along. Ristolainen, a long chance. Easy stop by Fleury. Rossi deep in his own zone, off to Bogosian. He'll snap it out through the neutral zone. Kaprizov, soccer style, kicked it free. Zuccarello gives it right back to him. Kaprizov over the blue line, carved up right circle. Sent one rink wide that deflected free. Zuccarello hoping for it, but the Flyers emerge. Hathaway slowed down by Kaprizov. Merrill now D-to-D for Bogosian. Bogosian on the table, Kaprizov bursting ahead, and just tipping it free was Palin. 5:50 left. The Flyers down 3-0, and they've got their 4th line on the ice. Not questioning that, just noting it. It's a shot score. Sanheim with traffic in front, let one fly, and I don't know if Fleury saw it cleanly. The Flyers pull within 2.
Well, how many games have we seen this year where Minnesota's given up a late goal to take away a shutout by a goaltender? But that happens certainly with Fleury, who has 75 shutout goals or 75 shutout games in his career. But this goal finds its way in the open area. Now we'll see what happens. This one coming at 14 minutes and 18 seconds, and I think you're going to see a little bit of a push coming in from that Philadelphia side.
Paling got it to Sanheim, and he just wristed it almost in a one-time fashion. Most often you see slap shots of the one-time variety. That was a wrister that was on his tape and off it, and it got past the glove side of Fleury inside that post to his left. We'll see if it was tipped on the way by definitely some traffic. But the Flyers have their first goal of the hockey game. Brodin labels one along. Ben Jones spins up. He's got a man in front. Reese Johnson trying to play it that way. It's blocked. Morgan Frost deflecting that feed away from trouble. Konechny now carries in. Konechny hogtied for a moment. No penalty call coming. Play continues. Konechny now bouncing one to Drysdale. They'll feed it to the left point. Sanheim met there by Reese Johnson, and he forces the puck out the center.
Yeah, good play by Johnson, just using his side there to knock the puck out of the zone.
Konechny centers. Down low it comes Drysdale. Threw one in front. It just ricocheted wide. It was jabbed back out in front. Frost couldn't connect on it. Through the high slot. Drysdale hands it off. Konechny. Konechny a shot. That just pinballed wide. Boy, the Flyers pushing here. Michkov to the left point. Konechny. He'll lay it rink wide. Drysdale back to Travis Konechny. Just inside the blue line left wing boards. Tired Wild players on the ice. Boldy, Jones, and Pustadinov out up front. Again, the Wild down a forward with no Jakub Lauko here in the third. Konechny on a loose puck after the Wild cleared it ahead. Konechny with a pass. Bounced off a couple of bodies, and Hartman just bounces one all the way down. It's icing on Minnesota, 4:24 to go.
Yeah, give the Flyers a lot of credit, Joe. They're moving those legs once again, and Minnesota's having a hard time in the defensive zone because of it. Got to get the legs moving out here, make some good plays defensively. I'm watching the goaltender right now, and he is going to his bench. Harrison heading over that way. He's going off the ice, so they're going to pull the goalie with 4:24 to go here in the third period.
Flyers were trying to make a late change. They haven't used their timeout yet. I think they wanted to try and catch the Wild after the icing call, but trying to make a late change kind of delayed things a bit.
Yeah.
Draw to the right of Fleury. Couturier and Hartman on it. A mad scramble. Boldy emerged and just pumped it out to center ice as he was dumped by Cam York. Back is Sanheim. Empty net for Philadelphia. Quick up sees Farabee. Drilled in from the offensive blue line. Rims around the boards. Boldy knocked it down with his glove. Knuckled it out through center. This rolling puck got up on its edge and was cutting towards that empty cage, but it goes for icing.
You think Fleury's thinking goal? Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, he's got to try to even up his teammate, Philip Gustafsson, who had the 15th goalie goal in NHL history.
All right, face-off deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury. 4:06 to go here in the third.
15th goalie to score one, I should say, in NHL history. Of course, former Flyer Ron Hextall had a couple, so did Marty Brodeur. Chisholm skies one along. Boldy plucks it up ice. Foot race here. Johansson and Michkov, and it's icing. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. 3:51 to go.
Just a little bit too hard in exiting the defensive zone of Minnesota with that shot. But also the icing call once again. Winning the draw. And Philadelphia has won 55% of the draws so far in this hockey game.
Faber's been out for almost 2 minutes. Boldy $1.16.
Oh, timeout, I believe, right now.
Nice work by Zach Halverson having those numbers ready for us, and they'll get a chance to at least catch their breath. They can't change, but the timeout gives Minnesota a chance to reset a little bit.
Yeah.
So 3:51 to go. The Wild 3, the Flyers 1. Kaprizov at 14:18 of the first. Boldy at 15:21 of the second. Rossi in the third to give the Wild that 3-goal cushion, and then Philadelphia getting on the board a few minutes later.
Yeah, I think that's Bradshaw mapping out the strategy for the Flyers right now. Looking at Torts in behind the bench with his hands in his pocket, letting his staff run different areas of the team. And the faceoff is going to be to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury, who gets another well-deserved drink of water.
It'll be Couturier on the draw for Philadelphia. Hartman takes it for the Wild. Hartman has Boldy, Johansson, Faber, and Chisholm on the ice. Draw to the right of Fleury. Couturier with the empty net behind him, trying to win it back for Philadelphia, and he does. Left point, Drysdale sweeps it to Michkov. Back to Drysdale, center point, left side of drive blocked. Chisholm got in the lane. A heavy blast by Konechny. It comes back to Drysdale once more. Konechny, another block by Chisholm. He absorbed them both, and the Wild clear down. This puck will just have the steam for icing.
Chisholm's okay. There appears to be okay, and he can't change unless there's an injury, unless he's hurt. Because of the icing call going against Minnesota, and the faceoff will be to the right of Fleury.
So now everybody on the ice for Minnesota, other than Johansson, sitting at 59 seconds this shift. Everybody else has been out for at least a minute, and Faber's been out for just over 2. Another draw to the right of Fleury. Couturier fell down trying to knife it back. He couldn't. Chisholm spins it around the boards. Michkov held in for a moment, then lost it out to center. Still a lot of time left, but the Flyers have pulled their goaltender. 3:22 on the clock. Wild from right to left on your radio dial. Flyers from left to right coming ahead. Couturier knifes it in. Gets skittered into the corner. Brink took a hit from Hartman. Hartman lost his footing for a moment. And now it's up into the netting and back down onto the ice.
Yep, that'll give us a chance for another timeout.
Much needed for the Wild. 3:08 to go. They've got a 2-goal lead here at home over the Flyers. It's 3-1 Minnesota. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The scrape of blades, the clash of sticks. Hockey's more than a game. It's unrelenting, never give up moments that make you feel alive. And so you commit to the weekly ups and downs, the long road to the playoffs, You wear your heart on your sleeve and your jersey with pride. And when you're there for your team, the NHL Shop is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at NHLShop.com. Fanatics experience.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
It Ain't Right Tour 2025.
The poor mother is in the balcony, and the kids are down here with the father and his gumad. If this was the 80s, the kids would have been up there, and the parents would have been down here.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live on stage in St. Paul, XL Energy Center, Friday, February 14th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Brock Faber of the Minnesota Wild. Having grown up in Minnesota, I know all about the legend that is Tom Reed.
Hello, fans. He's been good when he has to be. With Tom, doing very well, thank you. I've had a couple of beers, so I'm okay.
Great broadcaster, better person.
A Henway tomorrow.
What is that?
What?
A Henway.
Depends on the size of the hen.
Oh, and you get to hear him every night.
This is Tom Reed. Thanks for listening to Wild Hockey.
Exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Well, 3 hours wait to go. Some of the crowd leaving right now. They figure Minnesota has in the bag 3-1. If you are driving or walking, be very careful. We understand it's very slippery outside, so take your time. Be safe.
Draw on the right of Fleury. Still an empty net for the Flyers. They pulled Harrison with just under 4.5 minutes left in regulation. Only about 90 seconds has expired since then, but we've had a slew of whistles and timeouts, including the Flyers burning their only timeout, plus that TV stoppage moments ago. Back to live action. 5-on-6 for Minnesota. Kaprizov, who has a couple of empty netters already this season. He couldn't clear out. Konechny, left wing corner offensive zone. Flings it to the point, Drysdale. Handed along Michkov. A one-touch pass tipped by Foligno. Good stick there. It sails into the stands.
Yeah, you look at the empty net goals also, which are a big part of the game in today's game, obviously. Philadelphia, they have scored 6. They've given up 6. Minnesota has scored 9 this year, giving up 5. Right now, the net is empty. We wonder if Fleury gets a chance to raise that puck over to the top of everybody. Will he do it? With a 2-goal lead, he just might.
Not much missing on his resume.
No.
Soon to be Hall of Fame resume. The bouncing puck through the Wild slot, grabbed by Foligno and stashed out to center off the right wing boards. Drysdale back to pick it up. Now Michkov. Sliding at the brink. Brink cuts past some trouble. First over the blue line. Feathers it to Konechny. He'll leave it back for Drysdale. Setting up Michkov outside the right circle. Right back to Drysdale. Center point. Down low Michkov. Wheeling with the puck, taking a look, feeding it back to Drysdale. Left side Konechny fakes the drive. His snapshot to the back post, glance wide. Foligno hustling to it, diving, able to poke it ahead. Kaprizov off to the races with an empty net in front of him. He'll shoot and score! Kirill Kaprizov puts the Wild in front 4-1 with 2:10 to play.
Why wouldn't he? He's done it before. He does it again. He gives his team a little more of a breathing room right now as the score becomes 4-1 in favor of Minnesota. This goal coming at 17 minutes and 50 seconds of the third period.
Diving play by Foligno to slap it ahead. Kaprizov, second of the game, 20th of the year. Came in time for third in the NHL in points, and he's going to keep climbing up that ladder.
Well, what an effort that was by Foligno, though, to get that puck. He had to dive at it. He knew he had to do that in order to get the puck going north.
Only Leon Draisaitl of Edmonton, who was just here a couple nights ago, with more goals right now than Kaprizov up to the second. Under 2 minutes to play. Harrison back between the pipes for Philadelphia. York tries to shift one in, ends up in the Wild bench. Tom, found it interesting, John Tortorella talking about Matvei Michkov and who helps the young Russian understand things. And he said, I don't think he has a clue what I'm saying sometimes. So assistant coach Darryl Williams spends extra time with him, and Owen Tippett on the bench at times will explain to him, hey, we're going to go off next shift, we're going to change here. Because, you know, the game happens so fast, and that language barrier there, it's got to be tough.
Yeah, I often imagine myself going to another country by myself, into a new environment, thinking, how am I going to get through it? I'd probably lose 100 pounds, which may not be a bad thing. But at the same time, it's got to be difficult, and so you have to have patience, and the player has to be willing also to learn. Here's the call.
20th goal of the season. Second of the game for number 97, Kirill Kaprizov. Assisted by number 17, Marcus Foligno, and number 25, Jonas Brodin.
Just thought it was an interesting anecdote because it made me think about Kaprizov a few years ago and how he tried to get acclimated quickly as Fleury kicks off a shot with his left pad that was tipped in front. And sometimes we take it for granted. These players can be 18 years of age, in different countries, and trying to not only learn everything about North America and the United States, but how to play this great game.
Yeah, just turning on your television, trying to figure out what they're saying, or how do I change my station? What station's can I get?
That probably felt like you when we were in Chicago and the remote control was an iPad, because it took me about an hour to figure out what was going on. Jam play near the net of Fleury. Squeezes free. Flyers trying to dig it loose. Foligno tucked it away from a bit of trouble. We're down to the final 35 seconds. It's soared ahead by the Wild. Kept in barely by Zamula. Chisholm now. Gloves down a puck. Carries Minnesota ahead. Declan Chisholm. Over the blue line. Left circle with a shot that deflected wide. Zamula now for the Flyers, who are running out of time. 15 seconds to go. Lawton at center. Spikes one in. Fleury out to trap it baseball style. And then just played it to no man's land. Look out. Farabee gets to it. He'll fire one. Maybe Fleury padding his stats there as he's able to make the save.
Yeah, he just wanted one more shot.
Final seconds tick down. The Wild beat the Flyers 4-1 here in St. Paul. They pick up their 20th win of the season, tying a franchise record to get to the 20-win plateau in 30 games. Last time they did that was 2011-2012. So 20 wins in the first 30 for Minnesota, and they still have yet to lose back-to-back games in regulation.
Well, good effort all the way through here, and there's no question on both sides of that red line, too. I thought that Minnesota was a little bit lax at times tonight, but when it got difficult, they came through, and it started with their goaltender also. It came up with a number of key saves in this hockey game.
So the Wild now will go at least 31 games, make that 32 games, we know that much, without back-to-back regulation losses. The last team to do that was Toronto a couple of seasons ago. And over the last 4 years, the longest stretch of games without back-to-back regulation losses to start a season was that wagon of a Bruins team. They went 65 games to start the year without back-to-back regulation losses. But the Wild putting together a nice streak here to start the year. Now fourth longest in the NHL over the last 4 years to start a season with at least getting a point in the standings before consecutive regulation defeats. Boy, they had to find a way. Felt like one of those games. Find a way. And this team's been doing it all season long.
Yeah, and this was not Minnesota's best game by a long shot. We understand that. It will get better. I mean, you're bringing players back into the fold. You're bringing in new life into the club as well. And so it just takes a few practices to get together. But they won't have time for another practice unless they go skate tomorrow morning. But they have a game tomorrow at 5 o'clock, of course, with the Vegas Golden Knights coming to town.
So Zuccarello and Brodin back in the Wild lineup, both with impacts, of course. Brodin so steady out there. Zuccarello with the primary assist on Rossi's goal that made it 3-0. And for Philadelphia, just the goal from Travis Sanheim at 14-18 of the third to avoid the shutout. But the Wild win it by 3 here. Their 8th home win, and they are now 26-4 with a tough one looming tomorrow, with the Golden Knights coming to town, entering play today right behind the Wild in those Western Conference standings. Tom, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, just the fact, they always find a way to win, and that's the important part of it. You're down with a number of players that have injured. You got guys out of the lineup. You lose a key guy like Middleton out of the lineup for a while. We have no idea how long it's going to be, but you make it work. And I think by working together, you get some luck also, puck luck. And Minnesota had some of that tonight, but they get the 2 points, and that's the most important thing.
And, of course, the status now of Jakub Lauko. How long will he be out for? Hopefully not too long. Again, he just came back from injury, and John Hines praising Lauko, his high energy, penalty kill ability, but can the Wild lose another forward in this hockey game? And so we'll wait to see his status tomorrow with the Golden Knights coming to town. The Flyers dropped to 14-13-4. Their 7-game road point streak comes to an end. The Wild, 26-4 on the year. They're now 6-0-0 following a regulation loss, giving up just 12 goals in those 6 games. They beat the Flyers here 4-1 at home, out shooting Philadelphia 23-21. Kaprizov, a couple of goals as Minnesota gets 2 points in the standings. That's going to do it for this portion of today's broadcast. Thanks for listening. My thanks as well to Zach Halverson, our engineer in the Al Shaver press box. Great work by Tim Parochka and Kevin Fonas here at XL Energy Center as well. We thank them as always. For Tom Reed, I am Joe O'Donnell signing off. We'll see you tomorrow on the air at 4:45 p.m. The Golden Knights in town for a 5:08 puck drop against the Minnesota Wild. Again, your final score, the Wild 4, the Flyers 1. Stick around for the postgame show. It comes your way next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
This has been Wild Hockey, but stay where you are. The XL Energy post-game show is next following this break. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrissure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.
At Anderson, we understand the challenges of builders and contractors better than most. Here's proof from real pros.
The best service department is the one you don't need, right? But when you do, I know they're going to be there.
The 400 series has earned my trust to the point where we have put it in our own home.
When somebody says Anderson, everybody responds quality.
Helping builders and contractors craft their legacy. Anderson, the #1 trusted window and door brand. Claims based on 2022 Anderson brand surveys of U.S. contractors and builders.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What? With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save. So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done? Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account. That's a flex. This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Pro paint days are back at Lowe's. That means it's time to save big on your next job. Right now, get your choice of 5-gallon pails of Valspar Signature Ceiling Paint or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Flat Ceiling Paint for just $148. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when